think.
On one. On two. On
That's
three.
not the only thing you blow. Podcast doesn't exist. 63. Back again for another weekly edition. And bad news for everybody at home, man. Major League Baseball is collapsing. All over the league, we're just seeing collapse after collapse. First and foremost, massive collapse in Atlanta right now. Let's get that out of the way. They're collapsing in Atlanta. 2 collapses in New York at the same time. Yankees fans pissed, Mets fans even more pissed, and their manager is fired. They fired the Mets manager. Holy shit. If that's not a collapse, then what do you call a collapse? Fuck. An historic collapse in our nation's capital. Bryce Harper returns to Nats Park and rubs it in the fan's face. Middle finger? It wasn't a middle finger. He wants to make that clear. Wilson Contreras and Josh Naylor get into a beef this week. That happens every week, guys, but it happened again, man. Josh Naylor and Wilson Contreras. How many beefs combined this year, Mitchell, between those two?
40?
40? I was going to say 6. We wanted a real answer, not a bullshit fucking 40.
Feels like 40.
It feels like 40, but it's probably, I would say legitimately, though, 6, right?
I would say, yeah.
I mean,
4 to 8 range.
4 to 6, 4 to 8. All 3 American League teams that entered this week in first place are no longer in first place. So there's only 3 divisions in the American League. So there's 3 leaders in the American League. Last week, there was 3 leaders. This week, there's a whole new leaderboard. So there's collapses. The Cy Young winner collapsed on the mound. Fucking Tarek Skubal injured again. Turns out he just pinched his balls. I mean, shit happens. But AJ Hinch, his manager, says he was, quote, uncomfortable in a personal area. Skubal says, what you think happened is what happened. So he pinched his nuts. And no offense to Skubal, I do think I know what would fix this. Maybe some pants that aren't fucking skin tight, dude. This guy's pants are insane. I don't know how he's not pinching his balls every pitch. Show the fans of fucking his pants. There we go.
I didn't know Mitch had it up. They are tight.
Tight pants for Scoobs, and he's got some big legs. And they keep calling him fat on Twitter and shit.
He thick.
He's thick, dude. But like they act like every major leaguer doesn't look like that. That's like the ideal baseball build. They're like, oh, Scubal's fat now. He's not going to be good at pitching. Like that's like, come on, Skubal is the male ideal body. If you want to be a pitcher, is a peak. This is what peak performance looks like. Unless you're
Unless you're 6'7".
No, I'm just saying your nuts performance might be hindered with that build and those pants. But Skubal, yeah, so he pinches his nuts, but he's fine. But since coming off the IL, it's not been great. Hasn't made it past the 6th inning. Hasn't made it past the 6th inning. Has given up 2 or more runs in each start since coming off the IL. He's got a 4.96 ERA. Tigers go 2-5 this week. They are 35-49, but despite being 14 games under 500, the Tigers are just 6.5 games out of a playoff spot. And that's because the entire American League sucks right now. That's been confirmed over and over and over again. Only 4 out of 15 teams in the AL have a winning record. 5 teams have a positive run differential in the AL. There's only 5 teams with a positive run differential. When AL teams play NL teams this season, they are 45 games under 500. That is the second worst of all time, on pace to be the second worst of all time. The worst team in the American League right now is the Royals. They also had a player get hit in the balls. Play this. Fields upon, boom! Right in the balls. You got hit in the balls so hard, his sunglasses fall off his cap. So David Lynch fields a bunt, throws it to his third baseman as hard as possible. He's got to be 4 feet away from him. Chucks a 90-mile-per-hour ball at his balls. And Nick Lofton has to leave the game. Boom! Right in the ball sack. And
this was actually the Royals' better game this weekend.
What was the word? How?
They allowed 35 runs in a 2-game span, and they only allowed 2 runs in this one.
So if you were in charge over in Royals land,
This is like best case scenario, I guess.
Whose fault is this? You know,
The pitcher.
the pitcher,
was it such a bad throw?
he threw this shit 1,000 miles per hour 4 feet away from him, bro. What the
Correctly.
fuck? I mean, the guy was 4 feet away. And then the announcers were making it seem like the guy did it on purpose. He raged through it at him because he didn't field the bunt or whatever. I don't know. And then he didn't like check in on his teammate. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but there is a small chance he just fucking just hates his third baseman. Be a weird time to do it. It was like first and second, 2 outs. Like that was like a big play. If that ball goes into center left field, we're talking even more runs being scored. 35 in 2 games. So the Royals fall to 35 and 50, 15 games under 500. But even with the worst record in the American League, the Royals, the worst team in the American League, are just 7 games out of a playoff spot. So it's anyone's fucking guess. Anyone with a pulse can be good in the American League. The Mariners are in a playoff spot with a losing record in the American League. The Red Sox enter the weekend with the worst record in the AL. After 4 games, they have the 4th best run differential in the AL. They are 4.5 games back of a playoff spot. They went from worst to 4th best in terms of run differential. Obviously, that's not exactly true because really their record was the worst, but the run differential wasn't the worst. But now after 4 games, only 4.5 games back, so the Red Sox are back in action. Let's go. And that is because the American League is collapsing. What are we going to do with the American League?
Relegate them.
Relegate them to the...
Not in the major leagues.
Send them to Cuba. They could use a league down there. But the biggest collapse of them all, that would be the New York Mets. The New York Mets have officially decided to fire their manager, Carlos Mencia.
What?
Daddy. Carlos Mendoza has been fired. And you might be asking at home, why would they fire their manager? The Mets? Didn't they just win the championship? No, that was the Knicks. Okay, we're talking about the Mets here. All right, the Mets. They fired their manager, and this is why. So the Mets entered the season favored to win the NL East, right? They had high hopes going into the season. We picked them to win the NL East. Both me and Mitchell and Jack all picked the Mets to win the NL East. And look at us now. Why would you think that, Mitchell? You're supposed to know what you're talking about.
I can't even put myself in that mindset anymore.
He picked the Mets to win the whole fucking World Series, and look at them now. They had 79.5% playoff odds to win the playoffs, to get to the playoffs. Finished the first week of the season in first place. It was going so well, bro. If you remember the first week of the season, we're like, wow, the Mets are in first place.
First game of the season, they knock out Paul Skeens in the first inning, and you're like, this Mets team is going to be a problem.
That's true. And then they're in first place. And then what happened? 12 straight losses for the Mets in April. Juan Soto got hurt. Francisco Lindor got hurt. Everyone else on the team sucks. Worst offense in baseball the first month of the season, worst on base percentage, worst OPS, worst slugging, scored the least amount of runs, second least amount of runs in the league, only had 1 qualified hitter with an OPS over 700, with the second highest payroll in baseball, projected to have the second most wins in baseball. The Mets finished the month of April with the worst record in baseball. But if you recall around this time, this is right when the Phillies fired their manager, when the Red Sox fired their manager, and the Mets, we're looking at the Mets. Is it your turn? The Mets came out on May 1st and said, listen, it ain't happening. We're not firing Mencia. We're keeping Mendoza. We're not going to fire Carlos Mencia. We like Carlos Mencia. They're not going to fire him. They rest assured, Mets Nation, we're keeping our manager on board.
Are you doing the Mencia thing on purpose?
Listen, buddy, that's for the fans to figure out. A magician never shows his tricks.
Am I missing something? Does he look like Mencia?
I don't know. Pull up a picture. Let's go side by side. Let's go, Mencia Mendoza. Remember when I was younger and I had my first cell phone? I used to always get calls. They would say, they would say,
twins.
Am I missing something? How could you get Carlos Mencia and Carlos Mendoza mixed up? I don't know. Their names sound the same, dude. But when I was younger, they used to call my phone. They thought that I was Carlos Mendoza. They said, we're looking for Carlos Mendoza. And I would be like, it's not him, but they always call for Carlos Mendoza. I think it's probably different Mendoza. Either way, if you want to reach Carlos Mendoza now, do not call the New York Mets because he has been blown to shreds.
Oh, no!
The New York Mets. But on May 1st, this is 7 weeks ago, the Mets said they did not intend to make a managerial change. They did not blame their woes on the manager. They said all these problems is not the manager's fault. And then they actually started playing better. So before this week, the Mets since May were 24-20. So if the season started on May 1st, they would have been a playoff team. They actually had a winning record. They were doing better. Were getting Francisco Lindor off the IL this week, and then they might have had the worst fucking week of all time. Worst 2-day stretch of all time. So on Tuesday, they played a doubleheader. I think that was Tuesday. Or was that Wednesday? I think on Tuesday. Tuesday, they had a doubleheader. A bunch of Norwegians show up. The fucking Norwegian soccer fans show up. They did the Scottish shit that they did in Boston and Miami. They did it in New York. Invaded Citi Field, doing chants, doing rows.
Look at this.
The viral Viking road. They did a Norwegian conga line. But this is like a day game, a bake-up game during a day game.
This guy's got it.
And
This. Is that the Macarena or what they
we probably shouldn't be playing the sound on this
Norwegian dance.
because my brain can't handle two sounds at once. I already have my home voice going in my ears. Now I got to hear Keith Hernandez's cokehead. Sorry. What was I talking about?
The Norwegians.
The Norwegians doing the Viking because it's like a day game, makeup game. Half the crowd is a bunch of Norwegians just doing soccer chants as the Mets get fucking curb stomped.
This I think is the best clip. It's Dansby Swanson. It's tie game. It's a bomb off of Nolan McLean in the 6th inning, and then SNY or Marquis, I guess, cuts to Norwegian fans just dancing in the outfield.
Yeah, so the Norwegians are rooting on the Cubs in Citi Field. Don't give a fuck.
They're great.
No one gives a fuck about the Mets and their sorrows. They get blown out 10-3 at home. They play another game that night. Francisco Lindor comes off the IL after 2 months. First ball he gets makes an error. In the 4th inning, Marcus Semien makes an error. In the 7th, down by 1, he makes another error. The next inning, Bo Bichette gets a ground ball. He makes an error. A few minutes later, Mark Vientos gets a ground ball. He makes a throwing error. The next inning, Vientos makes another error. That is 6 errors in one game for the Mets. And you think, well, it doesn't get much worse than that. You know, we just lost 10-3 and then 10-5, gave up 20 runs in one day and made 6 errors in one game. You know what? Maybe tomorrow's a new day. Well, it was a new day. Even worse. Next day, there's a ground ball to short. Low throw. Mark Vientos can't pick the ball at first. That's another error on the fucking Mets. And just to give you a taste of what it's feeling like in New York City, this is the broadcast.
Not able to bail him out. Now they're chanting Pete Alonso again.
Okay, this is not the clip that I thought was going to be playing. But that was a good clip because to play at that point, because the whole fucking crowd starts chanting Pete Alonso as they're losing to the Cubs. And if you know this, Pete Alonso used to be on the
Mets,
and now he's on the
Orioles.
And now they have Mark Vientos at first. But he's not really a first baseman. He was a
third baseman.
And now he's playing first.
And he can't stop making errors.
And he makes 4 errors in one game. And you look around and you say, why the fuck did we put this guy first? Why don't we just have Pete Alonso play first? Well, they didn't let him play first because they let him go to Orioles land. And everyone in New York now is chanting Pete Alonso as the New York Mets fall apart. A few minutes later, there's a ball hit to right, gets past Carson Bench in right field, allowing a run to score from first inning. So that is 8 errors in like 12 hours. Now we can play that sound. The broadcast reacting to this.
So this is the depths of despair, yeah?
I mean, this team is in the depths of despair.
Now they're
Can't
chanting
get
Pete
starting
Alonso
pitching
again.
to hold the other team at bay.
Track record.
struggling with their offense.
That was the fucking
And
that happened after the other
defense
play,
falls apart.
wasn't that?
I think this was Wednesday night doubleheader.
Okay, well we're fucked up. Either way, dude, you heard the tone in his voice, man. It was a sad show of events for the Mets. Okay, the Mets make 6 errors in one game, 8 errors in 15 innings, and 9 errors in the series. Gave up 33 runs in 4 games. They lose 6 in a row. They fall to 13 games below 500. Playoff odds fall to 4.4% for the Mets. And Carlos Mendoza, their lovely manager, who they really fucking loved for a little bit, is now no longer the manager. He gets fired. And that is the end of how many years was he the manager for the Mets?
So this is his third season. The Mets haven't had a manager go past 3 seasons in over a decade.
And who was that?
Terry Collins, he
Over
managed
3 seasons only.
he managed for 7 seasons, but since Terry Collins was the manager, Carlos Mendoza was the second longest tenured, or the longest tenured manager since Terry Collins.
And that was two
and he's
and a
the
half
fifth
years.
manager in that span. Carlos Beltran famously was named a manager and then did manage it all. And then they've had 4 other managers who didn't last past the second season.
So 2.5 years. So good run, second place. You made it. 2.5 seasons. Buck Showalter wasn't there for longer than
2
2.5?
seasons.
Jeez. But Terry Collins, man, shows the guy's good, dude. My ass is in the jackpot.
How do you feel about a broadcast team being like pretty honest in the broadcast like they are with the Mets lately?
I love it. The Mets broadcasts are honest. One of the few ones. My favorite thing about the Mets broadcast is like Keith Hernandez, when they make a bad play, he goes, "Oh!" And that's not Keith Hernandez.
The Mets.
I know, but it's still the same
Yeah,
sentiment.
And like they definitely tell you not to do that in broadcast school because no other broadcaster does that, but he does it, and I think it adds a lot.
I also love Ron Darling's like disgust. Like he doesn't sound angry, he just sounds disgusted when the Mets do something bad.
They care.
They should care. There's not much to care about anymore, honestly, if you're the Mets, though. They're absolutely fucking trash. And Mendoza's got fired, bro. And, it's funny because Mendoza got hired in 2024. The history of Mendoza. If you really want to get into, like, the lore behind Mendoza and how Mencia, really became to be, gets hired in 2024. Okay, starts 28-37, so not a good start. This is David Stearns' guy, right? So David Stearns is the GM, president of baseball operations. He comes in, 2024. They fire Epler, right? Is that his name? They fire Epler. They fire fucking the manager. Showalter. They bring in a new squad. Mendoza comes in 2024. They start bad, 28-37, 16.5 games back, 4th in the NL East, 3rd worst team in the NL. Playoff odds were down to 7.9%. Then they went off. So this is where they finished the year with a 62-37 record. That's the year they had the rally pimp. They had the Seymour Wiener fan. They had the backup infielder release a hit song. Who could have forget Jose Iglesias? Oh my God. The playoff pumpkin. I mean, the Mets were hot, bro. They went to the playoffs. They upset the Brewers, upset the Phillies, made it to the NLCS for the first time since 2015. Terry Collins. And that was Mendoza's first year. So that was hot. I mean, Mendoza came in there and fucking turned that shit around. And then what happened? They signed Juan Soto. Dropped a bombshell, gave him the highest contract of all time. We're going to get even better. We got our same team. We were a series win away from going to the World Series. Now we got the best hitter in baseball in the squad. And then what happened? They started out fire last year, 45-24, had the best record in baseball in June. And then, so to start his tenure, basically his first season worth of game, or sorry, there was a stretch there where they were 107-61. They had a 96% chance to make the playoffs. And then had one of the worst collapses you'll ever see last season. Lost 7 in a row mid-June, 14 out of last 16, out of 16 in July, early August, lost 8 in a row in September, completely fumbled the playoffs, missed the playoffs by 1 game.
All they needed to do was beat the Marlins.
and they couldn't beat the fucking Marlins. They couldn't be. I mean, like you look, you replay that last half of the year for the Mets. Like when you lose the playoffs by one game, they also lost to the fucking Reds, who they won 83 games or something crazy. Like you had to win 83 games, couldn't do it with Juan Soto. And then this year you saw what it was, man. Terrible start to the season for him. And Mendoza is fired, ends his career with a 206 and 198 record, so a winning record, and they fire Mendoza. Now, a lot of Mets fans aren't exactly thrilled about this. I mean, not that they have Mendoza's back, but when the GM or president of baseball operations, whatever you want to call him, as soon as they fire somebody, they put the blame on the manager. Listen, it goes on you're the head guy. We're going to fire you because the team sucks. Now that guy's gone. Now it's the GM has the target on his back. And that's what's going on with David Stearns. So the day after he gets fired, security, a fan brings in a fucking sign. Play this guy. And I want to hear the audio on this guy too. Brings in the fired David Stearns signs, gets the whole section on his side. He gets ejected. Actually, what happens, they don't eject him. They take his sign away. You're not allowed to have a sign. And then he comes back later with a smaller sign. A whole fucking crowd is chanting, let him stay. He just wants to fire David Stearns. And that is the question. It's like, whose fault is this? You put this on the GM or you put this on the manager? I mean, I'm sure you could put blame on anyone. But the reason why they blame Stearns is because basically Stearns comes in 2024, right? This is after 2023. They have a collapse, and he inherits this core of Mets players that was with the previous regime, right? So we're talking Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil, Brandon Nimmo, guys like this, right? He inherits the squad, and then their first season, he keeps the squad because he's inherited the squad, and they come back and they go to the fucking playoffs. They go one series win from the World Series, have a great season. Last year, they collapse, and as soon as they collapse, he gets rid of the entire core. So they get rid of Pete Alonso, get rid of Jeff McNeil, get rid of Brandon Nimmo, Starling Marte's gone. So 4 of their 9 everyday players last year are gone. That's out of the starting lineup. And they've replaced them with a lot of fucking good guys. Bo Bichette, Marcus Semien, Luis Robert, Freddie Peralta, Tobias Myers, who I wouldn't say is the greatest guy, but he is a guy listed on the list. Jorge Polanco, David Williams, Luke Weaver. So, the Mets this offseason had a great offseason, right, Mitchell? You thought at least. You thought it was going to be a great offseason because they got these players. Fucking only 1 out of 9 of these acquisitions have a WAR over 0.5. So absolutely missed on every single one of these except for Luke Weaver. Missed on everyone. Bo Bichette, negative 0.1 WAR. Marcus Semien, 0.6 WAR, negative 0.6 WAR, injured. Luis Robert, injured. Freddie Peralta, he was good at first, not so good anymore. He's got a 4.5 ERA. He's been the best other than Luke Weaver. Only other one with a positive WAR, and that's a 0.4. Tobias Myers, negative 0.5. Jorge Polanco, he's injured. He's got a negative 0.3. Devin Williams has been dog shit. No offense to dogs. That's even so rude, dude. So rude to Devin Williams. I'm sorry. But negative 0.4 WAR for him. And so they fucking airballed on all this shit. I mean, it's kind of hard to get every single one of these things wrong, but they did. And unfortunately for the Mets, you're also dealing with a scenario where, this team, I feel like they kind of scrapped their farm system because all they've been doing is making trades ever since Mr. Big Timer came in, Steve Cohen. This core that they have, not this core. Yeah, there's new core. None of them are really good. I mean, you got Brett Beatty.
Not good.
Not good. Mark Vientos. I mean, what happened to Mark Vientos? Mark Vientos came up in 2023, was damn near rookie of the year. We're looking at him like he's going to be, a cornerstone in the Mets. He's got a negative 1.1 WAR, 644 OPS. So Mark Vientos has gone the wrong direction after I think it was his rookie year, or did he have some time before that?
It was his second full season in the big leagues. He had a 134 OPS plus. He was a playoff hero for the Mets in 2024. And since then, he's been legitimately just one of the worst players in baseball.
Yeah, so it's like when you have guys like that you're relying on to come and be like the new wave of talent for your squad fall through like that, then that's also hard to overcome. Now the Mets have the ability to overcome that shit because they have a fuck ton of money. This is second highest payroll in the league. But when you whiff on 9 free agent picks, yeah, it's a recipe for disaster. Francisco Alvarez, another guy like that who's not panned out to be that great of a player. Brett Beatty, Ronnie Mauricio. These are kind of the core that I guess you wouldn't blame Stearns because it wasn't like Stearns got those guys in there. But
I think the biggest source of frustration for Mets fans is that this offseason, Stearns preached run prevention. He wasn't satisfied with the defense. Could be one reason why he didn't bring back Pete Alonso, who had been with the team since 2019, like a quintessential Met. Why they traded Brandon Nimmo, who was in the middle of a contract extension. And then the guys that they bring in are bad or even worse at defense. I mean, 6 errors in a single game, 6 errors by the infield really doesn't look like you've done anything to shore up run prevention.
their run prevention has been dog shit.
I mean, Pete Alonso is like 10 times better at first base than Vientos. Maybe Alonso didn't have the range that Stearns was looking for, but at least he can play first base competently.
Yeah, they're starting pitching right now, 27th in ERA. Their offense sucks, 26 in runs, but the starting pitching is rough. I mean, Peralta, 4.5 ERA. Nolan McLean has not been the guy they thought he was, and people were thinking he could be a Cy Young winner this year. Not great. 4.03 ERA with a 1.02 ERA plus. His FIP is a lot lower, so maybe you argue it's the defense that's fucking him over. I don't know, but he's not doing great. Kodai Senga has fallen apart. Negative 1.2 WAR, 9.09 ERA. They moved him to the bullpen, so that's another guy who is completely, the wheels have fallen off Senga, who came up and was amazing his first 2 years when healthy, but hasn't been healthy. And I'm guessing, was it an injury that fucked this up?
A lot of people think it was in 2024 in June, he had to leap for a ball covering first, and I think he tore his hamstring. People say he hasn't been the same since then, but last year, up until like the All-Star break, he had a 1.39 ERA. And since then, he has been, I think he has an 8-something ERA since the All-Star break.
Didn't he get hurt again at the All-Star break? I thought he was like hurt going into the playoffs last year. They didn't make the playoffs last year. I'm thinking of the year before.
He only pitched like one game in 2025 or 2024.
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah. So he's moved to the bullpen. Sean Manaea, that's another guy who they signed thinking was going to be a great starter. He's not a great starter. He's got a 4.87 ERA, and he's in the bullpen.
Oh, the June injury is June last year is the hamstring injury.
So it's only up for here for the Mets, but I don't know what you do. You kind of just hope that all these players turn it around.
I mean, yeah. What else can you do?
I mean, I don't even know. Like, is this firing? I don't know if they're even. Do you think this like the Phillies, for example, they fired their manager. The Red Sox, same thing. They fired their manager, thinking this could change the momentum and we have a chance to make the playoffs this year. I don't know if that's what the Mets are thinking. I don't know if that's because they think this is their year to make a run, or they think that this is just we need to make a whole organizational shift completely and bring in a new set of guys who are going to do better.
I mean, there's no way the Mets are buying this year. It's almost July. I think the point of no return was June, and they are not good. So I think this is more just like we've given up on the season. We've got to put some blame on someone. Mendoza's out. But it could also be like with the Red Sox, it feels like Breslow felt like a target on his back. And he's like, well, last resort.
I feel
Stearns
like,
might feel the same way.
I feel like this puts a way bigger target on Stearns' back. So I don't know. Maybe he was thinking that, but like I said, now everyone's looking at Stearns. No, they were probably looking at Stearns anyway. But like, I mean, you can't avoid when you sign 9 free agents and they all sucked. you're going to have a target on your back no matter what. But my prediction is that the Mets will make the playoffs and win the World Series.
You put money on that.
And their new manager, who was the old manager for the Padres, forgetting his name,
Andy Green.
Andy Green, is going to do a great job in there. And I will be curious to see how long Stearns sticks around, because it hasn't been a great start for him. It was a great start for him. His first year, everything looked great. But they flipped over the entire core. They took a big risk, trading Nimmo, trading Alonso, trading McNeil. I guess he didn't trade Alonso.
But he didn't bring him back.
He didn't bring him back.
And the guy who really wanted to be a Met.
Yeah. Got rid of the core, brought in his guys, and his guys have not been great. But they're not the only team in the NL East who has collapsed this week.
Wait, before we go, I got to see Mr. Met's reaction to Mendoza being fired.
Okay, play that.
But what I will say,
He's taking it pretty hard.
it's become clear that the Mets simply changed too much.
That's a foul ball right there.
He's very heartbroken about this. Okay.
Well,
Make some changes, but when you
it's always good to have a positive role model in the clubhouse. And I think that's what the Mets need, a better mascot. Or maybe just make all the guys be mascots. We'd let Mr. Met pitch. I totally just got distracted hardcore right there. But back to the podcast. The Nationals are collapsing as well. They're not the Mets, the Nats, everyone is collapsing in the East, and the Braves. On Monday, they beat the Phillies 4-1, so that's a good start to the series for the Nats. They're 3 games over 500 at this point. Half game back of a wild card spot for the Nats. 1.5 games back of the Phillies. With 3 games left in the series, they got a chance to overtake the Phillies and get into second place. Now, this is a Washington National team who has been down on their luck the past few years, all right? And this has been an amazing season. They got the momentum. I mean, Nats Park, they got the tarps off section. They beat the Phillies in game 1. They've been amazing. Their offense has been amazing this year. This is why they're so good. 438 runs. So they led the league in runs as of Thursday. 5th highest OPS, 4th most home runs in the league, had the 2nd most steals in MLB. So the offense has been carrying the squad all year. So they go up 5-0 on game 2 thanks to the offense. Enter the 8th inning. They're winning 5-3. Richard Lovelady comes in. Great name, Lovelady. Gives up a triple, walks a guy, hits a guy. The bases are loaded with 2 outs. JT Realmuto hits a fly ball to right field. Fucking James Wood almost saves the game. Can't get it. So the fucking Nats blow a save here. And the Phillies go ahead. But like I said, best offense in baseball. Nats come right back. Fucking Jorbit Vivas, of all people. Jorbit Vivas comes to the plate. Hits a clutch 3-run home run. The Nats, again, are back. So the fucking bullpen blew it. Then the offense unblows it. Now the bullpen's going to come in and fucking shut it down. So the Nationals have a 2-run lead. They bring in Brad Lord, Home Depot guy. He used to work at Home Depot. Now he's in the Nats bullpen. What could go wrong, right? Strikes out the first batter. Strikes out the second batter. Nationals have a 2-run lead with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. They have a 99% chance to win this game. They get the Phillies down to their last strike. 99% chance to win this game. Bullpen proceeds to give up a single. Give up a homer, give up another single, give up another single, give up another home run, walk a guy, give up another single, give up a double, walk another guy, and then gives up another single. 10 straight Phillies reach base. They score 8 runs after being down to their final strike. They had 2 outs, no one on base, and they gave up 8 runs. First time in history a team had their opponent down to the last strike with no one on base 2 games in a row and lose both games. That is a spoiler alert.
Wait, spoiler.
I know. The Nats blow 2 back-to-back leads. So the next day, they take another lead. They go up 2-0, blow it again, take the lead again. They enter the 9th with a 1-run lead. And once again, they get the first 2 outs of the inning. 2 outs, no one on base. 96% chance to win this game. They just need 1 more out. They walk Kyle Schwarber, and Derek Hill comes up. Goddamn, Derek Hill hits a 2-run blast. Nats blow 3 leads in the 8th inning or later in just 2 games. Then on Thursday, it doesn't stop there, brother. They take another lead. They go up 5-0 on the Phillies. Again, into the sixth, they have a 5-run lead. They got a 96% chance to win this game. Bullpen comes in the seventh, blows the lead again in the seventh. So they give that up. They go into the ninth tied. Bryce Harper comes up to the plate with a runner first. So the Nationals that have this tarp soft section that's been doing really good in Nats Park. They've been going crazy up there. They're fucking booing the shit out of Harper the whole series. They're saying fuck Bryce Harper the whole series. They're also giving Trey Turner some shit in right field. So Bryce Harper comes to the plate. He's literally getting booed. Like literally they're chanting fuck Bryce Harper as the game is tied. And Bryce has commented on this in the past. He said, quote, "It's weird coming from a fan base, obviously, that I sweated for 7 years." So Bryce Harper gets booed in Washington every time he goes there. Do I agree with that? If I was a Nats fan, I probably wouldn't boo Bryce Harper. He did leave in free agency technically, which gives you a right to boo. However, the Nats probably didn't really make a competitive offer. He fucking went off. It was the best thing that happened to the Nats that he left because he left, they won the World Series the year after. I think, being around here, I think Nats fans honestly just boo him because they just hear the name Bryce Harper and they boo him. They don't even really know the lore. Booing Trey Turner is crazy.
I don't know. I've been to like several Phillies Nationals games here, and I've never heard them boo Trey Turner.
I think it was just a rowdy game. Were you at the game on Tuesday or Wednesday? Any of these?
I was at the game on Wednesday. Didn't hear any boos for Trey Turner.
Is this not the game that he flicked off the fucking crowd?
This was Thursday.
Jinx, yummy soda. Either way, they're booing Trey Turner and Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper has made it clear in the past he doesn't really appreciate getting booed for the Nats after all he did for the city. Either way, they're chanting "fuck Bryce Harper" in his face. And what does he do? 1-0 count, hits a go-ahead 2-run bomb, and points his ring finger at the tarps off section as he's rounding the bases. So the Nats bullpen, they allow 4 blown saves in 4 runs, including 2 blown saves in 1 day. They now have 24 blown saves on the season. The record for most blown saves in a season is 37. That was in 2021. That was by the 2021 Nationals. So they're trying to beat their own record and tied. So they have the record for the most blown saves ever, which was in 2021.
I think one of these teams was not the Nationals. That's on me.
So the Nationals, either way, they're trying to break the record. They're on pace to tie the record for the most saves. Sorry, they're on pace to break the record for the most saves by 10. So the record for most blown saves by a team in a season is 37. The Nationals right now are on pace to blow 47. They allowed 26 runs. This is just their bullpen. Allowed 26 runs in 4 games. Had an 11.78 ERA. Allowed 6 homers in 3 games. The bullpen's allowed more home run. The Nats bullpen allowed more home runs in 3 days than the Tigers, Yankees, and Mariners bullpens allowed all month. Negative 0.5 F-WAR in 4 games, on pace to have the worst bullpen in MLB history, according to F-WAR. And they might do it. On pace for negative 2.4 F-WAR. That's not good. Have given up the most runs in the league, 438 runs allowed. Sorry, that's not right. That's how many runs the Nats offense have scored. So the Nats offense, best in baseball. There's only been 4 teams. You tell me this stat, Mitchell. What is the wild card era stat?
So in the wild card era, there's only been 4 teams that have led the league in runs and missed the playoffs. That was the 2023 Diamondbacks. It was the 2024 Diamondbacks, 2011 Red Sox, which they famously collapsed and had managerial issues, beer and chicken in the clubhouse. And they might have been the reason for the second wild card. The 2008 Rangers and the 1996 Mariners. So those are the only 4 teams in the wild card era to lead the league in runs scored and miss the playoffs. And most of these teams missed the playoffs by a few games. The Rangers were the only team that missed the playoffs by a lot, 16 games. And the Nationals, after losing all of these games to the Phillies, they dropped way out of the wild card spot, like 2 or 3 games now.
Way out?
From half a game.
Roasted. That's not way out, bro. They're still within spitting distance. Don't even disrespect the Nats like that. I mean, you say it right here. 1996 Mariners, they missed by 3 games. Now, the point being is the Nats are trying to fucking join some rare company here by being the best offense, yet still not making the playoffs because their bullpen is just that shit. So, I mean, if you look at it right now, if the Nats had an average bullpen, if they just did what they were supposed to do, even if they could have blown one save and the fucking offense bailed them out 2 seconds later, they would have swept the Phillies. That would have been a 4-game sweep. They would have been 44-38 right now. They would be in second place right now above the Phillies and would be second in the wild card standings. It's a whole different narrative. Instead, we have to spend 10 minutes talking about how they're the worst bullpen of all time. However, instead, it is the Phillies division, brother. Well, it's not really technically. I guess it's still the Braves division, but the Phillies are right on our fucking tail, dude. Phillies win 3 out of 4 against the Nats, and they beat the Mets 2 out of 3, so they win 2 series against the NL East. Now they are only 3. The Phillies right now are only 3 games back of the Braves. And they have another great week. They go 6-2. Schwarber becomes the first player to hit 30 home runs already. What is he on pace for? Is he going to break the record?
I think he's on pace for 60 because we're 80 games through the season and he has 30. So
that's not even that good.
60 is not good.
I mean, it's not a record, but Judge got 62. Judge got 62, bruh.
And for the National League, he is well off pace for the National League record.
What is that record?
73.
Oh, Barry Bonds?
Barry Bonds.
That's not that. Is that suspicious?
Not at all. Have you ever seen his record-breaking homer that season?
Yeah.
It's like on a 40-mile-an-hour knuckleball.
Isn't it against Wakefield?
It was against some Dodgers pitcher.
I'm trying to think of a knuckleballer of the Dodgers. It has to be in Wakefield, right? How many fucking knuckleballers are there? Is that not Wakefield?
Wakefield only played for the Pirates and Red Sox.
Jack, who was the pitcher who gave up the 73rd home run to Barry Bonds again?
Ronald McDonald.
I actually did not know this guy's name. His name is Dennis Springer.
Well, he's made history. He'll be in the record books forever. We'll never forget that name.
Look at this.
Wow.
It's a softball.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, hey. Knuckleball is one of the best pitches ever invented, bro.
They're not
Harder than it looks. Hit that thing.
pitching like they used to be.
You know, you gotta bring your own power up. That's why you get on the juice. Anyway, the Phillies are 10 games over 500, just 3 games behind the Atlanta Braves now. Bryce Harper using a heavier bat, motherfucker. That helped. So Bryce Harper's now, his bat is how much heavier?
He's increased his bat weight by 3 ounces.
But that's made his bat speed go down. How much?
A full mile an hour.
So you'd think that higher bat speed is better? Not really. Not really. Bryce is swinging slower and hitting better. So since switching over, he's 9 for 13.
And that was as of Monday. Since then, he for the full 9 games, he's batting .472 with a .917 slugging.
Pretty good.
4 homers using a heavier bat.
And he goes home to Washington and flicks off the fans, man, that he bled for. Flicks him off his ring finger. Is that a little disrespectful?
I feel like it's a little weird when you're flicking off the ring finger that has no ring off to show off.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I guess his point was that he was mad that they were doing that to Trey Turner when Trey Turner won them a ring. So he was showing the ring finger as in Trey Turner won you a ring, so why are you booing Trey Turner?
I assumed he was just trying not to do they get fined if they flick off the
Oh, yeah, for sure. You get fined if they get flicked off. But
so you might not get fined if it's the ring finger.
I'm sure he's not going to get fined because it's the ring finger. But I still think there needs to be some. If he's just doing a fucking, I'm allowed to do it.
If he's like, oh, I'm gonna win a ring this year, it's pointless.
I guess that's it.
I think it's the classic. Like he has kids, right? Bryce Harper has like 2 kids or some shit.
He's Mormon as
He
well.
probably has like 5 at this point.
So he's probably. I think it's a dad thing. It's like you're not supposed to use your middle finger. He wanted to flick them off. He threw up the ring finger. I doubt it has anything to do with rings or lack thereof.
That's funny because you're actually wrong.
Oh, you talked to him?
No, because it's like, remember when Castellanos did it in the playoffs? It was like a big thing, the ring. We're going for the ring. So, like, I would just find it hard to believe that he's just doing that as, like, a way to get away with flicking them off. Obviously, it's a double entendre, dual meaning. But there has to be a correlation with the ring.
He's definitely doing it for, like, we're going for the championship. But when you're doing it to the Nationals fans who already hate your guts because you left them for a rival 7 years ago.
Well, maybe.
But they've won the championship and you haven't.
Maybe
like, that's
it
the
was-
one thing.
But that's his point. Like, because I left, you guys got to win a championship.
There's no way he thinks because he left the Nationals, that's why they won the World Series.
Bro, I'm pretty sure he said it.
Well, he said, I'm going to bring a championship
no,
back to DC.
Yes, but he also said that he said as soon as I remember in an interview, he said as soon as they saw that they got Corbin, he said they're going to win the World Series. Because he said that was the one thing that we were missing when I was in that, is that we needed like another third starter or whatever. And then once they got one, he said they know they're going to win the World Series. And they wouldn't have signed Corbin if they had to pay Bryce Harper. So, he didn't say it directly, but maybe that's his point. Like, you're welcome for leaving. You got the World Series. Either way, Bryce Harper owns the Nationals, comes back and puts his dick on their chin. And it's bad for the Braves because the Braves fucking suck now. So 1 month ago, the Braves were 10.5 games up on the Phillies. Now they're only 3 games up on the Phillies. Since June 9th, they're 4-12. Worst offense in baseball. Least runs scored, second lowest average, lowest on base, lowest slugging, lowest OPS. Acuna's fucking hurt. 3 of the 20 worst hitters since May 9th are on the Braves. What the fuck happened there? That's Drake Baldwin. Since coming back, he's been bad. 4th worst hitter by F4. Dominic Smith, 9th worst hitter in F4. He was amazing before, not anymore. And Ha-Seong Kim has been the worst player in the world. He is 19th worst hitter since June 9th. But let's check in on his stats. Because Ha-Seong Kim is like...
Do you these are the worst stats I've ever seen.
It's really bad.
He has a negative 1.2 F4 in 26 games played. He has an 068 batting average, an 068 slugging, a 171 on base percentage, and he's not even really getting unlucky. If his expected stats were to play out the way that they were to, he'd still be like the worst hitter in baseball. He has a negative 27 WRC plus. He's legitimately the worst player I've ever seen. It's tragic.
It is crazy. And also his defense. Like, what the fuck happened? How do you.
He was a Gold Glove winner in San Diego, and when a ball is hit to him with the Braves, I freak out.
It's got to be, I don't know. I mean, it's got to be the injury. I mean, he hurt his wrist, so I guess that can affect things. But you see players just like get bad at offense all of a sudden. It is rare you see a player just go from Gold Glove to being completely detrimental.
He has negative 3 outs above average for the season, which puts him in the 19th percentile, but he's only played a fourth of the games.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing. It's like when you're talking about stats like WAR or like outs above average, like, it's hard to have a terrible WAR when you don't play, right? Like, you need to accumulate games to have a bad WAR or a good WAR. He's only played 26 games, and he's got like the 3rd, 4th worst WAR in the league. Negative 0.9 according to Baseball Reference in 26 games.
If he were to play an entire season, 162 games, he would be on pace for negative 7.5 WAR.
We're praying for him. He's going to turn it around. I believe in him. But it's not just the hitting, dude. The pitching has been bad as fuck, too. So they had the second highest starters ERA in baseball, which I believe, second worst ERA in baseball amongst starters since June 9th. And it's really just the back half of the rotation that's fallen apart. Grant Holmes is a 6.10 ERA. J.R. Ritchie, 8.10 ERA since getting called up, I believe, probably, right?
Then he went right back down.
Yeah, he's back down. And Bryce Elder has been the real issue. So the regression bug has hit Elder again. He entered June with a 2.50 ERA. Now he's got a 12.21 ERA.
Even in his last 3 starts, his ERA has gone from 2.66 to 4.01. He has a 12.21 ERA in his last 3 starts.
Yeah. He's one of those guys, when it rains, it pours for Elder. He's hot and he's cold. He's yes and he's no. Yes and he's no.
But right now, Martin Perez is like legitimately the Braves' second best starter, and he's a guy who got designated for assignment earlier this year, and nobody wanted him.
Yes, and that was the conversation going into the year. I mean, the worry about the Braves was that they didn't have enough starting pitching. They didn't do anything to help their starting pitching. It doesn't help that fucking Strider is on the IL, 60-day IL, and doesn't seem like he's coming back anytime soon, right? 4 weeks until he can even throw a ball again, right?
Yeah, no updates on Spencer Schwellenbach either, who, when he was pitching last year, was a top 5 pitcher in baseball.
And he's dealing with the bone chips,
Bone spurs, yeah.
and it's not the Scooble Scope is not available.
Didn't get the scoop scope.
Are they sold out?
He's like the last person ever before the scoop scope got invented.
God, dude, it's just not fair.
But I mean, at least for the Braves, their bullpen has been really good. And
Yes.
then on what was it, Wednesday night, the Braves have a lead in the 7th inning. Looks like they've lined up their 7, 8, and 9 guys who have been 3 of the best relievers in baseball. And Cookie Carrasco comes out for a 2nd inning, immediately allows a game-tying bomb to Tatis.
So why would they line up their bullpen perfectly and then bring out Cookie Carrasco?
Because Robert Suarez is injured.
yeah,
They were not trying to make that public information.
So Robert Suarez is hurt, who was acting as the setup man and was fucking lights out all year.
0.56 ERA.
Yeah. So he was elite, and it's a forearm thing. So sometimes that can mean Tommy John. I don't know. Are they saying it serious, or
They got an MRI back on Suarez, and they said there's no tear. It's just inflammation.
Okay, take an Advil and he'll be back. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. We got James Karinchak. I do like that.
He has been very good.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to see we got a fucking fireballer back in there. We missed him in MLB, bro. What happened to Karinchak? Took 3 years off. Went to Spider Tech rehab. Got him off the juice. But yeah, he hadn't pitched since 2023, dude. And he was amazing his first 2 years. I remember the book on him was that he was a Spider Tech merchant. And without the sticky stuff, he sucked. I think he dealt with some injuries, I'm guessing, but did he? I don't even know.
He was injured in 2024. 2025, he was with the White Sox minor league system, and he didn't make the majors, and then signed with the Braves this offseason.
Okay. So, I mean, I guess the good news is for the Braves, they do, like, their bullpen has been amazing. They got some injuries. They have some guys who can do both. I mean, Ronaldo Lopez, is the plan to move him as a starter now?
So they've moved him back into the rotation, but he isn't stretched out yet. So he only pitched 3 innings on Friday. I think the goal is, you get 60 pitches and then 80 pitches and then 100 pitches.
Okay, so Ronaldo Lopez looks like he is going to be back in the rotation. But what about Didier? He came up as a starter, but he has not started at all this year.
So he started 1 game this year, but when he got called back up a second time, it was to act as a long reliever, and he was so good, they kept using him and not sending him down. And then they were like, well, he's actually like an elite reliever. And so since about mid-May, he's been their 6th inning guy. And he's a 21-year-old, recently turned 21. He's the youngest pitcher in Major League Baseball by 400 days. And he's never pitched more than 80 innings in a season. So with the Braves, you're looking at a guy who's killing it in the bullpen, who is young, has never pitched that many innings. They're trying to play it safe with him. Like, he could start. They could stretch him back out to be a starter. But then you're risking, like, an inexperienced young arm getting injured just because your starting pitching sucks.
Well, they're going to have to figure something out because, going into June 7th, they were 2nd in ERA. Since then, they are 21st in ERA. Starting pitching ERA was 4th. Now they're last. Since then, they're last. Their relief pitching ERA was 1st, and they've stayed good. The relievers have been good. They were 3rd in runs on June 7th. Since then, they are last in runs and WRC plus. They were 3rd, and since then, they are last. So it's been a tale of a tough couple weeks for the Braves. Like we said, Robert Suarez goes on the AL, so that's not going to help. They get swept by the Padres in San Diego and lose 2 out of 3 of the fucking Giants, who have embarrassed us this year, dude. They've dominated us. A big part of these losing streak has been against the Giants, which is annoying because the Giants aren't good at baseball.
Rafael Devers owns the Braves. In his career, Devers has his 3rd highest OPS against the Braves, but he's played double the games against Atlanta than the other two teams. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what the Braves did to Rafael Devers, but whenever he plays the Braves, he turns into prime Barry Bonds.
Okay. What are you going to do? Well, the good news for the Braves is they built themselves a good cushion. So they were up 10.5. Now they're only up 3, and they get a rest day today. So maybe we'll turn it around. Going against a revenge series against Chip Carey and the Cardinals. Then we get to play the Mets, so that's good. Then we go to Pittsburgh, and then we play the Cardinals again. We're going to have to play Chip Carey 6 times in 2 weeks. Lord have mercy. So not only are the Phillies catching them, though, the fucking Marlins are catching them now, too. 6.5 games back are the Marlins now. Wow. Only a half game back of a playoff spot for the Marlins. Have the best record in baseball since June 1st, are 18-6 since June 1st. Lowest ERA in baseball since June 1st. The Marlins pitchers. Now let me rattle off some names in the Marlins pitchers. Tyler Phillips, starter. This is the starting 5 right now. Tyler Phillips, Ryan Gusto, Max Meyer, Sandy Alcantara, and Lake Bachar. We don't even know his name. We don't even know how to pronounce his name, which I apologize for. Only 3 of them are really actually traditional starters. And even with those guys, they have the 5th lowest starters ERA during that stretch. And they're not even really starters. Yet it's working out for the Marlins. Did you see the clip of their nerdy GM?
No.
Oh, my God. It's hilarious. It was the funniest fucking... He's just like... You can see why like managers or like old school baseball players just like hate analytics, and it's because of guys like this. And it's like, and he's doing a great job turning the Marlins around with analytics or whatever. But it's like you hear this guy talk, and you're like, yeah, this makes sense. Why older baseball people don't like analytics? Do you find it?
Thus far, the players you brought in, your evaluation on those?
I can confidently say that it's too early to have a strong evaluation. I think that we've seen some positive things with guys like Calvin Poche. We've seen some players that I'm confident are going to improve based on what they've done so far. But at the end of the day, we have to remember it is not even May yet. And the worst thing that you can do is evaluate players too soon and come to the wrong conclusion.
Do you feel that the catching position will need an upgrade at some point?
I could see, some guys having a hard time, listening to him just based on his aura, really. And it's nothing personal. It's probably a good guy. It does seem like kind of a prick, honestly. Actually, don't like him at all. But probably a good guy. Smart GM. So respect to the Marlins, who've done a great job. And I put the Braves on notice. The Braves are definitely in danger of a collapse right now. 10.5 game lead has fallen to 3.5 to 3. But the Yankees did collapse. So that's our next collapse of the week. The Yankees had a fucking tough week, and we gave them the BDE curse. How many podcasts am I on? BID?
62.
What is the name of our podcast? Either way, last week we said the Yankees were the fucking best team ever, and they could challenge the Dodgers, and we're on fire, and look how good they're doing. They're looking so good. They got all these good pitchers. Since then, they've sucked ass. Entered the week 2 games up on the Rays. They are officially out of first place. The Yankees are out of first place. I repeat, the Yankees are out of first place. They collapsed this week. Their fans are not happy about it. On Monday, Jazz Chisholm played second base with a blow pop in his mouth. Set the baseball world ablaze. This guy went to second base, sucking on a blow pop, went viral. Their manager did not like it. Aaron Boone comes out later saying that this pissed him off. John Boy did some good investigative journalism. Turns out he took an at-bat with a lollipop in his mouth earlier this season in Boston. No one cared. No one noticed. That's way worse. Blowing on a pop in the batter's box? Come on, Jazz. According to Jazz, though, he was just trying to bite through it, couldn't get through it fast enough. Cameras already caught him. And, to his defense, he says that he loves lollipops. Listen, I know I'm blowing on a pop in the mid-game. It looks bad look, but I love lollipops. A lot of people didn't like this. The reaction to this was pretty visceral. So Eric Kratz, former catcher for the Yankees, says, quote, feels immature and unprofessional. I don't understand why he thought this would be a good idea. Play this reaction from Mike Dadino. This guy kills the reactions, but
I don't know if I want my second baseman playing with a blow pop during a game. Like if this was the Mets and this was Mark Vientos chewing on a lollipop, down 4-1.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I'd have a heart
If Mark
attack.
Vientos did that, yeah, it would be worse. But still, Jazz Chisholm doing it isn't great either.
People just ripping Frank the Tank, huh?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be Frank the Tank, but no one has the heart to do it.
I wouldn't say that's ripping Frank the Tank. Show some respect to Mr. Mike Dadino. I think it's hard to rip. I mean, I haven't seen a picture of that guy, but is he pushing 4 bills? If you really want to,
I meant like the way he's yelling, not like his appearance physically.
it's true. Of course, Frank didn't invent yelling. It's New York City guys, they yell, dude. But Jazz defended himself. I don't think it's a bad look. I'm playing a kid's game and having fun. It's true. He is playing a good. Do you have a problem with that, Jack? Your second baseman going out there with a sucker in his
For
mouth?
real, don't at all. Unless like a ball hits him on the top of the head while he's like trying to like get to the bottom of a Tootsie Pop. I don't really see.
It's a safety hazard,
issue.
brother. Is it not a safety hazard? You die for a ball?
It definitely is a safety hazard, but it's safety hazard for him. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, should the league care? Probably. You know? But they're also allowed to wear chains. Well, I mean, there's not that many sports where you're allowed to wear like a fuck ton of jewelry and stuff.
If you're allowed to wear chains, why can't you blow
I mean, I feel
blow
like
up?
if you get hit in the field while wearing a chain, you're not going to choke to death.
You for real might. I mean, think about it. I could think of 10 different ways to accidentally die with a chain around your neck.
Yeah, you get choked out by a chain. What if it breaks? You got to find the chain. You got chains on the field.
I mean, that happens like 5 times a year, though.
Yeah, it slows the game down. Well, MLB has not made an official statement, but according to my knowledge, this is legal. You're allowed to do blow pops in the field, bro. There's nothing that says you can't. But Jazz, his defense is that he says he does it all the time, but he cuts the stem off, so you can't know. He just didn't have time to cut the stem off, so he was trying to get through it before the inning. Couldn't get through it. They caught him on the broadcast. It is what it is. Next day, comes up to the plate, hits a go-ahead home run in the 6th, ends up being the game-winning home run, goes in the dugout. What does he do? He grabs the lollipops, shows them right off to the camera. And this pissed some people off more. Play the Jake Peavy's reaction to this. Jake Peavy said, quote, "I got a problem with that. Get that out of here."
And after he hit this, he said, "Where's the lollipop?
That's a lollipop.
Where's
Johnson.
the lollipop?" The lollipop.
Right?
I know Jazz. I really, really like him.
I got
He's
a problem with that.
authentically himself.
Get out of
Okay,
here with
tell
that.
me.
Stop.
Okay.
That's showing up your manager and showing that you're watching this social media and playing right into it in the biggest market. Stop that.
I
I'm
hear
sorry.
you. No, I hear you.
Don't be sorry, Jake. Don't apologize.
I don't know, man. He kind of, it seems like he also is like, and I don't like it when people sag their pants. And I don't like it when their shoes are too big.
Don't put Jake Peavy in that.
Straighten your hat. That bullshit.
Listen, man. I'll be honest. Listen, and I love Jazz Chisholm and I love the chain. But when he brought out the lollipops, my reaction to that was the same thing. Because his manager the day before goes, "Fuck that. Don't be doing lollipops on the field." He hits a home run, and then he picks up the thing and goes, "I'm doing lollipops in the fucking field, dude. I just hit a home run. I'll do whatever the fuck I want." That's what it came off as. However, when you saw the reaction from Aaron Boone afterwards, he loved it too. So in hindsight, it wasn't a real problem. I mean, the Yankees kind of rallied around the lollipop stuff, so they turned it into a positive. Now, the public's reaction to it was a little negative, but Aaron Boone, even, who came out against it, said, quote, after the game, he can have all the lollipops he wants now. So I think Boone has learned to embrace the Jazz Chisholm experience. Now, does Jazz do a little extra for the talent that he has on the field? Does he kind of go above and beyond in terms of like being a little showboaty sometimes? For sure. Is he a little bit of a distraction? For sure. But it's fun to look at, I guess. And you wonder maybe if he wasn't able to do that, he'd be even worse. That's the question. If Jazz Chisholm had to pull his pants up and not wear chains and have not baggy pants, what would his OPS be after that? Seems like the Yankees have made the determination. This is the type of shit you need to let Jazz do. You got to let Jazz be Jazz, basically.
The Jazz analytics.
The Jazz analytics say you got to let the guy suck on a lollipop from time to time.
It increases his OPS by 20 points.
Exactly. And after the game, what do they play in the dugout, in the locker room? Lollipop by Lil Wayne, which is a song about getting your dick sucked.
So I let her lick the rapper. I bet you Mitch don't even know that song.
Mitch don't even know, bro. You see, we gotta start getting Mitch to sag his pants, wear some chains and some backwards hats. Would it kill you to wear your hat backwards once in a while, Mitch? Jesus Christ, dude.
Every time a
I
sponsor
don't feel like
sends
any of us
something,
wear our hats backwards.
I
might be
don't,
singled
no.
out here.
Well, to be honest, if Joey and I wear our hats backwards, I think we look like dirtbags. But
yeah.
But then if I wear my hat backwards, I look like a mega dork.
Yeah, maybe I could see that.
I don't know. I think we get next episode. We get Mitchell a grill, get him a chain, get him some baggier pants. And we'll see.
Look how terrible this is.
We'll see what it does to his performance. I think you look cool, man. I think we all look cool, bro. And I think Jazz looks cool. Unfortunately for Jazz, even though I want to officially endorse the lollipop on the field, but the stats are what they are. Since the lollipop game, they lost 5 of their next 7 games. So since then, they hit that high with the lollipop game. Manager says he can chew all the lollipops he wants. However, this has put them in a bad spot. So then they play the Tigers. Cole has a terrible start. So Garrett Cole has his worst start of the season, gives up 5 runs, 9 hits, 4 1/3 innings. I mean, so Garrett Cole came out hot, right? Shut down first 2 starts, 6 innings, 6 2/3, gives up 0 runs in both those starts, strikes out 10 in the second start. So 2 shutouts in his first 2 starts. Since then, he's 1-4 with a 6.12 ERA. Now, a lot of what we were saying about the Yankees last week about how they're so good was based on Garrett Cole being an elite starter again, which was a little surprising because of his age and his injury. Now it's looking like maybe he's not what he thought he was. Of course, small sample size, but tough stretch for him. They score 4 runs off Skubal and win against Skubal. However, then they go into a series against the Red Sox and get a 4-game sweep against the Red Sox. They get swept in 4 games. Let's make that clear. They get embarrassed in New York. So game 1 was a rough game. First inning, they get the second out of the inning. Turns out it was actually catcher's interference. That's 1 error. Schlittler is 1 out from getting out of the inning. Pickoff play, throws it into center field. Caleb Durbin pops up a ball in the second. Schlittler and the catcher just let it fall. That's 3 errors. In the 5th, with runners on first and second, a ball gets Ahmad Rosario. That is 4 errors, and 4 runs end up scoring because of this. So they give up 6 runs in this game. All of them are unearned, and that's because Yeri De Los Santos comes in the game, tries to field a bunt, misses it completely. Then he hits a batter with the bases loaded. Like I said, and then another potential double play is not turned because of a bad throw by Mr. Volpe. So 6 runs scored by the Red Sox. Not a single one of them was earned. They fall into the Wilson Contreras trap. So he does his famous thing where he gets hit on purpose and then gets in a fight because of it. The guy who gets hit more than anyone. I just love it. Like, how many fucking times does this have to happen? Contreras gets hit by a pitch, obviously tries to get hit by a pitch, then for some reason is like kind of mad about it and makes the other team get even more mad about it. He just lures them into the trap every time. Galvanizes the entire team. Get hit on purpose, start a fight, and your team will play better. Wilson Contreras has cracked the code.
It's very hockey.
Very hockey. And where's he from?
Is he Canadian?
Venezuela.
Oh, okay.
Venezuela. So he grew up playing hockey. I mean, he is a catcher, which is the most hockey position.
But not a catcher anymore. I think
True.
not being
That
a
is-
catcher anymore actually fired him up a little more because it pissed him off.
He's got a little bit more energy now.
He's mad about not being a catcher and he has more energy.
Exactly. So it worked. The Yankees scored 0 runs, get 3 hits all game that game. Then they go 8 complete innings without getting a hit off Sonny Gray, get walked off in game 4, and the Red Sox sweep the Yankees in a 4-game series. So that's the first time they've done that since 2018. What happened that year?
They won the
Red Sox won the World Series that year. So are the Red Sox back? So now the Red Sox have the 4th best run differential in the AL. Is that fucking insane?
The AL is so bad.
Yes, and the Red Sox have been so bad all year.
I didn't know who was in first place in the AL West this morning. Like,
Bro,
there's
I mean,
the whole AL is terrible.
I don't think there is a first place in the AL West. I don't know if you would count that.
I didn't realize the Yankees had fallen out of first. It's just such a mess out there.
Well, the Red Sox are there. They might clean it up. They're 4.5 games back of a playoff spot. Entered the series with the worst record in the AL. Yankees had the best record in the AL. Then they sweep the Yankees. Also, they entered the series with a 12-25 record at home. Worst home record. Yankees go in their home and get swept at their home, and the Red Sox are looking a little better. And they started the week losing a series to the Rockies. So if we would have done this podcast on Wednesday night or Thursday morning, we would have said, man, it's tired. I mean, the Red Sox are over.
You know what the secret was, though?
What?
Jet lag. Their flight got delayed back from Colorado. They didn't get back to Boston until 5 a.m. on a game that they were supposed to play the Yankees and Cam Schlittler, one of the best pitchers in baseball. And then they get a sweep. So,
fuck, dude.
Maybe you should have your flight delayed by 5 hours coming back from Denver all the time.
You make fucking 4 errors in a game where the other team is jet lagged. Makes you think. You gave them a series. You let the Red Sox get back into it, man. You had them. You had them. You got to step on their neck. And at the same time, while the Yankees go on a fucking stinker, the Rays, their division rival, get hot. Rays win 5 in a row. Junior Caminero hit 7 home runs in 6 games. So the Rays led the league in homers this week, had 12 home runs. 7 of those were by one player, Junior Caminero, who hit 7 in 6 games. Hits 1 in 4 straight games. They sweep the Diamondbacks, and they got a player to swing and miss at a pitch that hit him in the chest. Play this clip. This is the fucking worst swing you'll ever see. Okay. We're going to have to wait for it.
You didn't link the right thing.
Oh, you're blaming it on me. Once again, blaming it on me after all I've done for the place. It was my idea to have the picture of Abner Doubleday in the background. Is that enough? What else am I supposed to do?
Well, while we're waiting on Mitch, we should, talk about that. What else do we got back there?
We got Rob Manfred, our trusted GM, Zach Greinke, sitting on the mound. We're still waiting for his comeback. We got Shohei Ohtani's StatCast data from the game where he hit 3 home runs and had 10 strikeouts through a complete game. No, was it a complete game? Either way, good game. And then me and Unk Zuna at the game, at the broadcast.
All right, we got it.
Boom! Swing and miss at a ball that hit him in the chest. Here's the thing. Didn't even count as a swing. This umpire totally fucking misses it. Calls this a check swing. In no way, shape, or form could you ever say this is a check swing. However, it is ruled a check swing. Gets hit in the chest, swings and misses. And that sucks if you're the Diamondbacks and Lourdes Gurriel, even though he does get to go to first base. They do get swept.
How do you miss that call?
Hey, well, the broadcaster says day game after a night game, the umpires were out drinking last night, was the theory by the Rays broadcast.
Like the partial swing, like I don't know how many degrees of like movement they got in that movement, but you see it all the time. I could see a world where he, almost is gonna swing and then sees the ball's about to hit him, so then he tries to avoid it naturally, furthering his turn.
So you agree with the umpire on that one?
No, but I could see that maybe in the heat of the moment, what he really was focused on was batter got hit.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Jack,
what I mean?
They play in a dome, so it's not even hot.
Do you want to know something fun about baseball, Jack?
He said heat of the moment.
Oh.
So I was like, yeah.
Wait, what'd you say, Mitch?
You want to know something fun about baseball?
Please. There's got to be something.
There's no swing rule. There's no rule about what a swing is.
Yeah, the rule is if you attempt to swing, it's a swing.
Yeah, but there's no definition. There's no like.
Because regularly, like you'll see, like.
There's no like, if the batter breaks the plane of the plate, it's a swing. There's no like actual definition. So a batter could swing the bat, and the umpire could be like, that wasn't a swing, just like this, and there's no definition.
See, that's why they're getting replaced by fucking robots.
Well, that's another great point because they are implementing that in the minor leagues right now, a check swing robot, which will finally give a definite definition on what a check swing is.
And it's a lot more generous than we thought it was. It's whenever they show a replay of like a check swing, we're all watching to see if the bat passes the plane of the plate, but it's like a 45-degree angle, so the batter now has a lot more leeway for a check swing.
I've honestly been it's so impressive to watch. Like, how long does it take the average fastball to get from the mound to the plate?
3 seconds.
3 seconds? What are you talking about? Anyway, the point is it's so fast that, like, how do you ever partially swing and then decide to back out? Like, that seems so challenging to do, you know?
Yeah. You got to show them. You got I just respect a check swing, man. It's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in baseball.
Is it not
a
impressive?
Check swing.
It's not impressive to make any decisions in that amount of time, fraction of a second.
But hey, life comes at you fast. That ball comes at you fast. Yeah, it takes a lot of forearm and grip strength to check a swing with all that power.
Like, I wish there was stats on check swings for like Jay Miz. Like, you have no time at all to make any choices. I would wonder how that affects it. I know that stat probably doesn't exist, but
we can make
you would be surprised, but no, it doesn't. I feel like there's a stat on everything in baseball, and
This guy's the best check swinger in the league. Anyway, the Rays move in first place. It's the Rays whirlwind. 5 games in a row for the Rays. Yankees are right behind them, 1 game back. Then the Blue Jays, the Orioles, and then the Red Sox right behind them. But now, hey, the fucking Blue Jays and Orioles, I don't know where you want to go start with them. They haven't been playing great either. Now the Red Sox are just, they're a game and a half behind the Orioles and 2 games behind the Blue Jays right now. Anything you want to highlight with the Blue Jays and the Orioles?
So the Blue Jays got Shane Bieber back, and that was supposed to be exciting, but then he allowed back-to-back home runs.
Fuck.
The Blue Jays lost 5 out of 6 games this week.
They got swept by the Rangers, bro.
6 out of 7 games this week.
Holy shit.
Louis Varland, who's been lights out as a reliever, took a loss in one of these games. Just a ugly week.
Ugly week for the Blue Jays, man. When the fuck is Vladimir Guerrero going to turn it around?
Oh, yeah. Doesn't he have an OPS under 7 right now?
I don't know. I know that this week he batted 167 with a 167 slugging.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has a 697 OPS, a 91 OPS plus, 4 home runs.
So yeah, no power. The power got zapped out of Guerrero, which is not good. Orioles played just as shitty. Well, not as shitty, but not great.
Not much better.
You lose a series to the Angels. You're not feeling great about that. On the road, they lose 2 out of 3 to the Angels. And then they lose a series to the Nationals. But luckily they're in the AL. So, I mean, it is fucking anyone's guess who's going to make it out of the AL. I would not. Maybe the NL East, maybe the AL East is just going to be every team makes it. Red Sox not out of it. Orioles not out of it. Blue Jays not out of it. And the Yankees and the Rays are definitely in it. Nobody's out of it. I mean, you wouldn't be surprised if the Blue Jays or the Orioles just get on a hot streak. If either of these teams just win like 8 out of their next 10, which is definitely doable, they are all of a sudden like comfortably in a playoff spot. And we'll wait to see that. We'll wait to see, and I'm going to take a pee real quick if you guys don't mind. All right, let's move on to the Cubs, man. So in the NL Central, the Cubs, going into the week, they had the worst record in baseball since May 9th. The worst in the Rockies, worst in the Royals. They were 13-25 during that stretch. 3rd worst pitching staff in baseball, and it got fucking worse. All right? 5 pitchers with ERAs over 5 during that span, 5.63 ERA, and guess what? They kept getting fucking injured. 3 out of 5 starters got hurt in June. Jamison Tyone, strained hamstring in June. Ben Brown, stress reaction in his neck in June. Edward Cabrera, strained hamstring in June. 3 more relievers get hurt in June. Phil Maton, Hobie Milner, and Daniel Palencia all go down in a 10-game stretch. In total, 5 starters and 7 relievers on the IL, 12 pitchers on the IL. Christian Betancourt, a guy who's been catching for fucking 15 years, is now pitching in the minor leagues for the Cubs just because they had so many pitching injuries across the whole organization. He's throwing 95 miles per hour off the mound.
I mean, the Padres tried to make him a pitcher.
Come on. They need everything they got. But the point being is the Cubs came in terrible this week. They were, on a terrible stretch. Then all their pitchers get injured. You think a collapse is coming. dumbass. It's not a collapse. It's the opposite. So the Cubs go off this week, go 6-1. They sweep the Mets in 4 games. Dansby Swanson has the most insane 2 days of all time. So Dansby Swanson in game 1 of the doubleheader goes 2 for 4 with 2 home runs. In game 2 goes 3 for 5 with a triple, 4 more RBIs in that game. So in one day, he hits a grand slam, 3 home runs, a triple, stolen base, 11 RBIs in one day. The day before, he had 4 RBIs. So that is 15 RBIs in 2 days. So this is from Codify, who put this in a great frame. Dansby Swanson woke up one day with 31 RBIs, went to sleep the next day with 46 RBIs. That is 15 RBIs in 2 motherfucking days, man. And the Cubbies, so they had such a struggle with pitching injuries. They trade the Mets. The Mets say, you don't need them. We'll take them. They take David Peterson from the Mets. He starts the game, gives up a home run on the first pitch as a Cub. It's looking bad. Then goes 5 2/3, and they fucking beat the Brewers. They went 2 out of 3 against the Brewers, so they were up by 1, had the bases loaded with 1 out. So they go into extras yesterday against the Brewers. This is like a big series, interdivision rivals. They're on the road, up by 1, bases loaded with 1 out. Play the last out of this game with the sound.
Throw to second for 1 for the win. Yes!
This is an away game. This is in Milwaukee, and it is going crazy for the Cubs clutch pitching. And they've been on fire. 12-4 since June 11th, have the best offense in baseball, first in runs, first in on base, 4th highest OPS. A lot of that is PCA, who continues to be a fucking beast. He's been 369 in that stretch, a 1,200 OPS, 6 home runs, 1.9 WAR in that stretch. He has 1.9 WAR in 16 games, as the Cubs now just 5.5 games back of the Brewers. They continue to be the most hot and cold team of all time, and we're seeing a hot streak. The Cubs are back. Would you give them a chance to beat the Brewers in the division, Mitch?
I mean, yeah.
Why
Do
not?
you think they have another? I said, yeah. I mean, I think, you had a 12-game winning streak, a 10-game winning streak or whatever. Who's to say they don't have another 10-game winning streak?
What's their streak right now? 2?
2.
2? Hey, brother, only need 8 more. Only need 8 more. As the NL Central, it's kind of gone back to earth a little bit. Like the playoff odds were so crazy forever. Right now, the Milwaukee Brewers, obviously, they've been great all year. 97% playoff odds. The Cubs are up to 67% playoff odds. But the other 3 teams, little bit lackluster. So for the first time all year, the Cardinals kind of play how we thought they would be playing. They're 3-7 over their last 10. They are still 5 games over 500, but 7 games back of the of the Brewers. The Pirates are 500, and the Cincinnati Reds, hate to break it to you boys, but you only got a 4.4% chance to make the playoffs. And it's tough. Let's start with the Pirates, man. What do you want? What do you want to really get off your chest about the Pirates? This Paul Skeens hot dog?
Do you want to talk about the what did they call it? The Big Glizzy?
Yeah. Tell me about the Big Glizzy. There's a 10-inch hot dog.
So Sheetz is the jersey sponsor of the Pittsburgh Pirates. If you don't know what Sheetz is, it's like a gas station that also has food. And they have a Big Glizzy that's selling for $4. And Paul Skeens went out and he served the citizens of Pittsburgh hot dogs.
And when they say Big Glizzy, they mean it.
So
10-inch Glizzy.
10-inch hot dog. He was serving cut-up hot dogs, and I was confused why they were calling those small hot dogs Big Glizzies, but these Big Glizzies, 10 inches.
Tell you what, Paul Skeens is calling those small hot dogs. You know what I'm saying?
Because he's got a 10-inch Glizzy. Paul Skeens' Glizzy is 10 inches, according to Sheets. I got a 10-inch hot dog named after me. It's Skeens' world. We're just living in it, boys. Guy's got a hot dog named after him. What else can you get? What else do you need? What do you get a man who has it all? You get him a hot dog.
Well, you need him.
Sheets.
He would probably take a win.
Yeah, he is a loser, isn't he?
8 straight starts with a loss.
8, another one.
Or the Pirates have lost 8 straight Skeens starts.
Another Paul Skeens loss with the Pirates. And they did play the Reds. They lost the series to the Reds in the head-to-head matchup. Paul Skeens gives up 4 more runs. Jeez. What's going on with Skeens, bro? Too much off-the-field endorsements?
Too much charity? I don't know.
Too much.
He hasn't been bad though. Like he hasn't been great, but they had a run where he allowed 2 earned runs in 3 consecutive games, and they lost all of those.
So his ERA is up to 3.10, like Mitchell said. Not bad. Definitely not bad. To an average person, that's great. But to Paul Skeens, that's not great. His FIP is below that, so 2.74 FIP. So that would tell you that he's getting a little unlucky, or the Pirates defense is just letting him down a bit. His WHIP is under 1, which is amazing, and his K per 9 is 11. So it's not like he's a complete bum, but you lose 8 starts in a row. That's a little concerning.
Yeah, according to Baseball Savant, Paul Skeens has the 3rd worst defense when he pitches in all of Major League Baseball.
Yikes. Connor Griffin returns. That's good news. When are they going to get Ozuna back? Dude, I miss Ozuna.
Ozuna?
I
don't know. He's not playing well.
Ozuna from the Braves, man.
It's now with the Pirates.
Ozuna from the Pirates. And then the Reds. I mean, I don't know how much on the Reds. Well, they got Ellie De La Cruz back.
And then they didn't score at all. So they lost. They got swept by the Brewers. They did score 5 runs on Wednesday, but they lost the first 2 games, 1-2 and 0-2. In those 2 games, it was one of the lowest OPSs in a 2-game span in MLB history. A 151 OPS in 2 games.
Yeah, if you score 1 run over 2-game stretch, chances are you're going to lose. So, I mean, they have great pitching. Singer goes 7 innings, shutout, 7 shutout innings. Then Lodolo goes 4 innings, shutout innings. I guess that's his first start back. Why he only go 4 innings?
I think he was walking a bunch of guys.
Interesting. Well, both of them give up 0 earned runs or 0 runs at all, and they lose. So, yeah, they're in last place. The Reds are going to have to start calling them the Blues because they are sad, down bad. The St. Louis Blues. That's already a team. Sorry, they're not in St. Louis. They're from Cincinnati. But they got swept by the Brewers, who stay in first place. Jacob Mizorowski throws the fastest pitch of all time by a starter, a 105.5 mile per hour fastball. His last pitch of the game was 102.8 miles per hour for the Mizorowski. I think he now has the 45 fastest pitches ever thrown by a starting pitcher. So pretty good job for Mizorowski, who has another great start. I think you'd have to give him the Cy Young at the season end today, right, Mitch?
Especially since Christopher Sanchez has kind of fallen off this month.
Yeah, and Shohei's getting sabotaged by his catcher.
Spoiler
alert. 1.45 ERA for the Miz kid. He's averaging 100.3 miles per hour on his fastball and has 4.3 WAR. So 13.29 K per 9. Sorry, 13.27 K per 9 for Mizorowski. Pretty good shit as the Brewers stay in first place. And the Cardinals. Finally, the Cardinals come back to earth, dude. They go, what? 2-4 this week?
2-4.
2-4 this week for the Cardinals. Lose a series to the D-Bags. Lose a series to the Mariners. Sorry, the Marlins. They scored fucking no runs. They scored 3 runs off the Marlins. We highlighted how good the Marlins pitching has been. Maybe that's just because they got to play the Cardinals. Not great. Lose 2 series in a row. What are you going to do? You got anything on the Cardinals before we move on?
No, just pretty boring week, even though they were bad. There's not like no blowouts, no big blown games. Just a bad week.
Just a bad week. You know what? You can't be good all the time. Just ask Dalton Rushing, who has taken the baseball world by storm. So Dalton Rushing has become MLB's new most hated player in baseball. It's only taken him 3 months, but truly is hated by everybody. We got some quotes on Twitter. Paul Kittman says, quote, "Is there a bigger douchebag in MLB than Dalton Rushing?" Good question. Dalton Rushing is a guy with serious problems in his head. Get rid of him. That's another Twitter user. There's another one. I'm pretty sure Dalton Rushing pissed in someone's apple juice in high school and thought it was hilarious. And that is a good descriptor of Dalton Rushing, at least his reputation. So Dalton Rushing, who has got this reputation quick, we can just highlight what he's done so far this year to earn that title as being the biggest douchebag in MLB, which he stands right now. So first he gets first incident this year in his career. was against the Rockies. So on April 19th, he accuses the Rockies of cheating. So the Rockies managed to get 3 hits off a Dodgers reliever. They came back and beat the Dodgers. They had the second worst offense in baseball. So Rushing thought it was a little fishy. He comes out and says, I think it was odd some of those hitters did what they do. They go up there and they're on the first pitch that was thrown. It's a little fishy, but I'll wear it. Then his manager comes out and says, why the fuck would you say that? Just accuse another team of cheating without any evidence. Let's just go out there and say they're cheaters with no evidence. Dave Roberts says, I saw some bad breaking pitches. I don't think there was anything fishy behind it. I think there were some bad pitches. So the next day, Rockies win again, and they start mocking Dalton Rushing by doing fishing celebrations at second base. And it wasn't that long later where he gets in more trouble. Jun-Hoo Lee gets injured sliding home. Dalton Rushing is seen off the field saying, fuck him, as Jun-Hoo Lee is on the field writhing in pain. The next day, he said he didn't realize Jun-Hoo Lee was writhing in pain on the ground. Says he apologized, said he made it right. It was a misunderstanding. On Thursday, he gets hit in the fucking ribs by Logan Webb. Then after that, he slides into second base and takes out Hai-Sam Kim, who's on his team, so he does not take out Hai-Sam Kim. I don't know who he takes out. But either way, he gets a dirty slide allegation and a cheering on an injured player allegation and gets a ball to the rib cage allegation, which wasn't an allegation. He gets his hit in the rib cage painfully. Dalton Rushing said it was intentional. Dave Roberts thought it was intentional. Logan Webb says it wasn't intentional. Arise says that the slide was dirty. So he's got a dirty slide. He's cheering on injured players. He's accusing other teams of cheating. And then the next week, Nico Horner steals second base on a wild pitch. He gets caught on camera calling him a fat fuck.
No, he called Miguel Amaya a fat fuck.
That's right. He calls Miguel Amaya a fat fuck after he steals second on a wild pitch. So that's his first 12 games of the season. Everything I just said there happened in 12 games. In 12 games, he accuses the Rockies of cheating, talks shit to an injured player, gets hit on purpose, does an illegal takeout slide, and calls another player a fat fuck. Also during that stretch, he hit 7 home runs with 16 RBIs and has a 1,200 OPS. So he comes out hot as shit. In all aspects of the game, he's causing shit, he's talking shit, and he's hitting the shit out of the ball. Hits 7 home runs in his first 2 weeks, basically. Since then, he's slowed down a little bit. So his first 22 games, he had an OPS over 1,000. So, and a great performance, especially for a backup catcher. Since May 9th, he's only hitting 182 with a 587 OPS. And unfortunately for him, these things are enough. This is a hard-nosed player. So, a lot of people are going to look at this and say, I don't like this guy. But then there keeps coming all these clips coming off. And now it looks like the Dodgers hate him because his Dodgers are having weird clips. He has this pitch clock violation. So he calls timeout. The umpire does not grant him timeout. It's clear that he does call timeout. The umpire looks at him. They see him call him timeout, but doesn't give him a timeout. Then he gets a pitch clock violation and gets called out on this pitch clock violation. That's not the problem here. The problem was the next day when he calls time again, and if you have that clip, show that, where he's like extremely animated about calling time out. And a lot of people saw this and said, yeah, this is something a douchebag would do. Just making it very obvious that it's a time. You got to do what you got to do, though. I mean, they fucked him the day before on it. What are you going to do? You got to do what you got to do. So that's another one. On May 7th, his teammates get interviewed, and this was a bad look, too. So his teammates are getting interviewed by Chris Rose in the dugout. They ask his teammates, if you had to pick one player on the team who you would not want to sit next to on a plane, both of them at the same time answer, Dalton Rushing. So now it looks like his teammates kind of picked up on the fact that Dalton Rushing is a little bit of a, I guess douchebag. I don't know. Some guy you wouldn't want to sit next to on a plane. The next week, he has a freak out on the bench. So he's freaking out. He's having a temper tantrum. He's a hot-headed guy, and his teammates just can't help it. They're laughing at him at the bench. This clip goes viral. So now there's more clips of his teammates just like, this guy's enough. He's freaking out on the bench. He has another freak out, broke his bat over his leg after a strikeout, hits himself in the head repeatedly after another strikeout. Then he has an incident with Contreras where he takes a ball, called the ball. William Contreras challenges the pitch. He immediately looks at him and says, "That's a ball." Yeah, that's a ball. Why would you challenge that? Turns out Contreras was right. It's a strike. And Contreras is like, brother, don't fucking talk to me, bro. So the guy that gets caught on camera. Unfortunately, every time this guy does anything, it gets caught on camera and it gets posted everywhere and goes viral. So this is like 10 viral moments at this point of this guy coming off as a little bit of a prickly individual. Then we get the Ohtani situation. So Ohtani, who loves everybody and everybody loves, once it becomes public knowledge that Ohtani might not like this guy, now it's all out, right? If Ohtani doesn't like you, then you got to be a piece of shit. Play this clip of him sneaking up Ohtani behind him. This is one of the best clips of all season. Dalton Rushing sneaks up behind Ohtani. Ohtani senses him, looks back at him, and immediately gets out of there. It doesn't look like Ohtani's...
At first, I was like, oh, they're like goofing around. But then Ohtani just leaves.
No.
One more time.
Immediately gives him the side eye of the century. And it's like Ohtani just, Ohtani's the ultimate good guy. He just couldn't help it. His instincts took over. And he said, all right, I got to do something else. I got to do something else right now. Then later, he's got a handshake with Ohtani. Ohtani does his handshake with him. I guess he tells him to zip it. So he tells Dalton Rushing to zip it. The zip it celebration. And Dalton Rushing's like, what the fuck? Let this clip pull through. Because he's telling Ohtani to zip it. Don't tell Ohtani to zip it, dude. And he makes fun of him breaking a bat over his leg. So his teammates are trolling him, man. This is just some good teammate on teammate trolling, bro. And all these fuckers online act like he's a bad guy. He's just a fucking troller, bro. But this is where it gets bad. So this week, Ohtani is pitching, right? And who's catching? Dalton Rushing. So usually Will Smith would be the catcher for Ohtani, but Will Smith is injured right now. I think he's got a neck injury. So Dalton Rushing has been the everyday catcher. They start out on the wrong foot. So Ohtani throws a ball in the corner. It's called a ball. He looks like he wants a challenge, but Dalton Rushing does not challenge the pitch. This has been an issue in the last few starts with Ohtani. So in Pittsburgh specifically, he threw a first pitch fastball in the corner, looked like he wanted to challenge. He did not challenge. Then he throws a 2-0 fastball in the corner, wanted to challenge again, but does not challenge. Both of these pitchers were on the corner, would have been reversed. Instead of being a 1-2 count, it's a 3-0 count. Brandon Lau then hits a double, 2-run double, turns a great 7-inning, 1-run start for Ohtani into the worst start of the season because of these two questionable calls. Now, Ohtani does have the power to reverse a call or challenge a call whenever he wants. However, what we've seen in MLB this year with the the ABS stuff, is that catchers are way more accurate at challenging calls. So typically pitchers won't challenge a call. They'll leave it up to their catcher. Now we have two examples where Dalton Rushing does not challenge a call that Ohtani probably would have liked to challenge, and it bites him in the ass immediately. So fast forward 2 starts later, when Ohtani gets another questionable challenge, does not challenge, it becomes a problem. Ohtani was upset to start. He has a 2-out walk. He's upset. Him and Rushing get crossed up with the bases loaded and 2 outs. So Ohtani throws a 102-mile-per-hour fastball. It's like the fastest pitch he's ever thrown all year. In his career, I believe. Dalton Rushing was expecting a slider or an off-speed pitch. So the ball gets back behind the plate. A run scores because of it. According to Ohtani, Rushing pushed 2 buttons on the pitch comm, which confused Ohtani. He assumed that the second pitch that he pitched was the pitch he wanted to throw. So if you press 2 buttons on the pitch comm, what pitch are you supposed to throw? He fucks up. That gets behind. And then Dalton Rushing looks pissed at Ohtani because he threw the wrong pitch. So there's a lot of problems over here. They have to have a Mao meeting. Then the Mao meeting gets complicated. Ohtani is looking at Rushing and they're talking. What are they talking about? Obviously, there's some communication issues, right? Then Ohtani throws a slider at the bottom of the zone. This time, Ohtani does challenge it, emphatically challenges it. Dalton Rushing looks at him and says, "Don't challenge it. What are you doing? Don't challenge it. Do not challenge this, Ohtani." Too late. He challenged it, and guess who's right? Ohtani's right. So over and over again in one inning, Dalton Rushing is getting mogged. Ohtani is constantly shaking him off the whole inning. He doesn't like the pitches that are being called. He eventually starts calling his own pitches. After this inning, you can see Freddie Freeman giving Dalton Rushing a pep talk in the dugout. Dave Roberts gives him a pep talk in the dugout. He starts hitting himself in the head in the dugout, which he does a lot. And it looks like this was the big issue, was the pitch calling. So afterwards, Ohtani goes to the media and says he wasn't comfortable with Rushing's pitch calling. I felt as if I was throwing with hesitation. I think that affected the quality of my pitches. So essentially also saying that it was like this in his last start too. And then after that, Ohtani starts calling his own pitches. And then what happens after he calls his own pitches, he shuts down the Twins for 5 more innings. So that was the problem. So in 10 starts with Will Smith as his catcher, Ohtani had 5 earned runs in 61 innings. In 3 starts with Rushing as his catcher, he's allowed 9 runs in 18 2/3 innings. So with Will Smith, he has a .74 ERA in 10 starts. With Dalton Rushing, he has a 4.34 ERA over 3 starts. So the question is Dalton Rushing completely ruining Ohtani's pitching by fucking up his pitch calling and being annoying behind the plate and giving Ohtani weird looks and shit and hitting himself in the dugout? Well, if you look at the stats, that might be the case. So now everyone is convinced that Ohtani hates Dalton Rushing. Everyone is convinced that his teammates hate Dalton Rushing. Everyone kind of knows that other players in the league hate Dalton Rushing, as we've seen with Jung-Hoo Lee, as we saw with Logan Webb, with Miguel Amaya, with Nico Horner, who later came out saying that he wished he would have fucking told Dalton Rushing to fuck off. He's causing a lot of issues. He might be the most hated player in the league. Would you say? What would you rank him right now?
I think the star level to hatred is Rushing pretty easily. Like he's not like a superstar.
He doesn't have many supporters. So you got a guy, like if you look at like hated players, I would put like a guy like Jazz Chisholm up there. Gets a lot of hate constantly. PCA gets a lot of hate constantly. These guys play with a lot of flair in their games. They're good hot players. One of them is a lot better than the other, but they got a lot of haters, but they also got a lot of supporters. Dalton Rushing doesn't seem to have any supporters. Not even his own teammates at this point seem like they're supporting him. Not even Shohei Ohtani, who supports everybody. I mean, Shohei Ohtani is like the goodest guy of all time. You saw the side eye here.
Seems like he's trying.
He's trying his best. He's trying his best. I got to read off the quote because we got to have Dalton Rushing defend himself after this, right? Because we're pointing out all his. You all right over there, Jack?
Yeah, if I wasn't wearing a hat, I think that would have really hurt.
We're pointing out his lowlights, but can we let the man speak for himself?
Well, I know it was a frustrating second inning. When you look at how just you as well as Shohei were able to reset and get back on track, how would you just describe handling that for yourself personally?
Yeah, I thought he did a good job. I didn't do a great job. Start to finish. It was pretty embarrassing. Thankfully, he's as good as he is, and he could take control of a game. Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing.
You have so much support, though. I mean, to have the conversation.
So Dalton Rushing says it himself. He says that was an embarrassing performance. He takes responsibility for the outing. So obviously, he had a bad game. And not only that, behind the plate with the communication with Ohtani, he goes 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. He gets mad in the dugout again. So, I will say, dude, I don't think his teammates probably hate him as much as it seems like on Twitter. I mean, he redeems himself the next day. hits a home run the next day, and who's the first person to greet him in the dugout, Mitchell?
Shohei
Ohtani. Burying the hatchet. Okay? Brothers fight, man. Brothers fight, bro. And these are brothers in the heat of battle. Okay, there's going to be some side eyes, some bad looks. We're not always going to be on the same page, but at the end of the day, we come together to beat the Padres, and everybody's happy. I don't know if he's going to beat this reputation anytime soon. He's got a lot of work to do, or maybe he likes to keep this reputation.
He seems like someone who can't take the heat, though. Like,
Really?
he wants to put out the bad boy reputation, but then as soon as the pressure is... I mean, he's slapping himself in the dugout once a week.
Yeah, he's putting a lot of pressure on himself. I've not seen a guy take the league by storm in this way. Dalton Rushing as just completely coming off without really saying anything to the media or doing anything, I guess, off the field that was bad. I mean, he's done everything. Everything he's done that's bad, quote unquote bad.
It's baseball bad.
Baseball bad. He didn't hit his wife. You know what I'm saying? Some players, we got Ozuna. Everyone loves Ozuna. Dalton Rushing, he just hits himself with the bat. You know, that's better than hitting someone off the field with the bat. So, you know, that's my defense for Dalton Rushing. That's how I stick up for him. He didn't hit his wife, at least. So give it up for Dalton Rushing. No domestic abuse charges yet, but still long career ahead of him. But the Dodgers win, man. They win 2 out of 3. Shohei has another tough start with Dalton Rushing. Hope they cleared that up because I don't think Will Smith is coming back anytime soon, right? I heard it was going to be an extended stay.
Yeah, I have no idea. Potentially out through the All-Star break.
So we're going to have to clean that up because I do not want to see Ohtani's ERA be a 4.34 over 3 starts. His last 3 starts have been his worst 3 starts of his season, and it just so happens to be with Dalton Rushing behind the plate.
Are you concerned about your boy Roki?
Tell me what happened to Roki. I saw him crying on the field.
So
on the dugout, allegedly. I don't think he's really crying.
Roki had this great stretch in May where he got his ERA down to 4.59. It had been above 6. In his last 3 starts, he has allowed 7 runs in 4.1 innings, 3 runs in 5.2 innings, and 3 runs in 4 innings. So his ERA is now back up to 4.88. And yeah, he was pretty upset in the dugout in his most recent start.
You know what? I'm not concerned about Roki. You know why? Because he's got plenty of time to figure it out. All right, the Dodgers, they're in first place. Big shocker. 100% chance to make the playoffs right now, according to Fangraphs. They are first in average, first in on base, first in OPS, second in runs, third in home runs. And guess what? They're starting pitching, even with a struggling Roki. Second ERA in starters, ERA, best whip, and bullpen is top 10. So I'm not too concerned about Roki. I'm not too concerned about the Dodgers. I'm concerned about the rest of the division who have no chance to catch them. That's who I'd be more concerned with. I'm more concerned about the Padres. Anything on the Padres that you want to say?
I mean, they swept the Braves, which was... Or not they swept. They won 2 out of 3 again. No, they swept the Braves.
They swept us.
They swept the Braves. Tatis hit another homer. Manny Machado was finally starting to hit again. He had the lowest batting average in baseball. He still might, but it's increased to 188. He's hit a few homers over the last couple of days. Padres kind of need that because their offense is just so bad. In the last week, he's hit 300 with 2 homers and 3 doubles. But then, yeah, you go out, you win the first game against the Dodgers. You got a 4-game winning streak. Walker Buehler, revenge game, sort of. And then you lose the next 2. You get smoked in game 2. Then you lose a close game on Sunday. Kind of takes all the momentum out of it.
Are the Dodgers going to break the record for most wins in a season?
What is their pace?
I don't know, but they got 50. They're first in the league right now, and they're probably not on pace for it right now, but like,
They're on pace for 104.
It's not out of the question. It's not out of the question. But that's good that Machado's playing better. Still a negative .2 WAR. Wait till they get Jake Cronenworth back, though. Just wait.
I don't think they're waiting on him.
That is good. Hey, good. I did like to see that Walker Buehler is back on track, bro. That guy is 3.81 ERA for Walker Buehler. Michael King, 3.55. Giants. What about the Giants, man? Fill me in on the Giants. I know they swept the Braves, but
So the Giants are doing this weird thing where they don't trust their catchers anymore. So famously earlier this year, they traded their big defensive catcher because they didn't like him. And then the catchers that they did have, the starting pitchers didn't feel like they could call pitches properly. So Logan Webb and Robbie Ray have started calling their own pitches. And since they've started calling their own pitches, they've been phenomenal. So Logan Webb just went the entire month going at least 7 innings. He's going to win pitcher of the month probably. Before he started calling his own pitches, he had a 4.82 ERA. Since calling his own pitches, he's had a 0.71 ERA this month. Robbie Ray followed. He started calling his own pitches against the Braves last week, a week and a half ago. He went 6.1 innings, didn't allow a run. He hasn't allowed an earned run in 3 starts now. So the Giants have just changed the way they're pitching, and it's working.
I know, and they've had like the best offense in baseball over the past month.
Well, they have, surprisingly, I think they have the highest batting average in the league for the entire season. The problem was they couldn't get their guys in, and recently I think they have been. No, they still didn't do that well scoring runs. 3 runs, 2 runs. They lost and scored 6 runs. And they scored 1 run, 5 runs, and 3 runs. So they hit for a high average. I mean, you got Luis Arias on your team. They just can't get runners in once they're on.
And that is the name of the game. But fuck, bro. I mean, they should have. That is insane. The guy starts calling his own pitches, turns into the best pitcher in baseball. Logan Webby, bruh. Fucked the Braves up yesterday. Fucked the Marlins up the start before that, and fucked the Cubs up before that.
Against the Braves, it was the first time he hadn't gone 8 innings since June 3rd. So every single start this month was at least 7 innings, and he gave up 3 earned runs.
Gotta respect it. Don't sleep on the Giants. I love Vitello's quote too. I'd be remiss to say if I'd say the best coaching moment of the night was when we told Rafi if he got on first, we were gonna pinch run for him. I love it. I just love that guy, dude. Every interview he has, the season has been so dog shit. He always got a smile on his face, bro. Positive attitude, dude. He's not letting that noise get to him. And I love how he just goes out there and says, you know what? Just to put that in people's mind, like maybe that is the manager's fault that Rafael Devers completely was a fucking prick and didn't want the guy to pinch run for him. Maybe it actually was Vitello's fault and the coaching staff should have told him beforehand and we could avoid all of this. Maybe. Which I don't think is the case. But Devers did apologize, right?
He did. He said it was a misunderstanding. He said he thought he was being taken out because he had hamstring soreness earlier in that series, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but that's what he's going with.
Yeah. He said it wasn't a bad look either. He said, no, I don't think it was a bad look.
He said the media blew it out of proportion, and that's the reason he doesn't talk to the media.
Wow. Is he calling us out?
I guess so. He had a good week, though. 3 homers. Batted 261 with a 696 slugging.
Let's blow that out of proportion. Is Rafael Devers the best hitter in baseball? He hit 3 home runs in 1 week. Imagine if the Red Sox had him right now. 4th best run differential in the American League. Imagine if they had Devers. Hate to fucking blow it out of proportion, but Devers is doing great offensively. And then you got the Diamondbacks to be specific. They went 2 out of 3 against the Cardinals, but then they get swept by the Rays. The nasty Rays make them look nasty. And the Zach Gallen sucks again, bro. What the fuck? What the fuck? You can't go 5 for 16 with runners in scoring position and have Zach Gallen have a 6.15 ERA, bro. That is one of the biggest fall-offs in recent memory. And then also you got Merrill Kelly,
who also is just terrible.
Choking the bed. It's hard to be a good team when your pitchers are not pitching well.
Choking the bed.
choking the bed, and when your pitchers aren't pitching well, it's not going to end well, bro. They've had a terrible, I guess, June. Since June. It is still June, barely. But since May 29th, they have one of the worst records in baseball.
I mean, since May 29th, Zach Gallen has an 8.44 ERA in that span. His best start was a 6-inning start where he allowed 3 runs. And then Merrill Kelly in that same span has had a 6.68 ERA.
Yep, makes a lot of sense. So because of that, they've been 10-18 in that stretch.
I mean, that's 2 starters who are just automatic losses.
Yeah, worst record in baseball during that stretch for the Diamondbacks, which, I would have said, I wouldn't say that. But, I had hope for the pitching staff coming in. Eduardo Rodriguez has been doing good. They ranked 21st in the season in starting pitchers, 20th in runs, which has actually been the real problem for them because 27th in OPS, because that's been their strength the last few years.
Nolan Arenado had a massive fall off this month. His OPS went from 816 on June 1st down to 695 today.
That's pretty fucking bad, but was it worse than Eduardo Vargas?
I think they're pretty adjacent, actually.
You know that? How do you? I'm so bad at names, bro. What am I even doing, bro? That guy, he went into May with a 1,131 OPS. Since then, he's got a 485 OPS.
So this month,
bueno.
Vargas has a 5 WRC plus, a 100 batting average, 224 on base percentage, and 140 slugging. Arenado has a 34 WRC plus, a 176 batting average, 232 on base, 253 slugging. He's been worth -4 or -0.4 WAR. Vargas has been worth -0.5 WAR.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, they're not in the American League. They're in the American League. They'll be all right. Now, granted, they are still just 3 games back of a wild card spot, so it's not like it is totally over for the Diamondbacks. They're just under 500 and playing a little worse than we thought they would be. That's all right. You know what? Not everyone can be as good as the Dodgers, or not everyone can be as bad as the Rockies, who did win a series against the Red Sox. We got them
miraculously. They had 8 straight hits, but they got thrown out twice in that span. And they still won the game.
But you know what? Hunter Goodman has 25 home runs, and that's pretty fucking amazing. Good for him. He hits 3 in one game, baby. Could be a trade piece at the deadline. Anyone need a home run hitter? Just call the Rockies. All right, let's move on to the Central, man. The AL Central, to be exact, because this is the White Sox division. So the White Sox take first, and then they give first back up, and now they are tied with the Cardinals. Both 4 games over 500. They played a series against each other. The White Sox, unfortunately, lose that series. Sorry, they won that series. The Guardians lose that series. The White Sox lose 2-3, despite a Tanner Bybee 6-inning shutout. Cade Smith blows a save. However, that is the game they won. But you don't hear that very often. A Cade Smith blown save.
Cade Smith blew 2 saves that series.
Oh my gosh, is he cooked? You blow 2 saves against the White Sox, your interdivision rival, and you don't have Jose Ramirez on your squad. That's a recipe for disaster. Then the Guardians get in a fight with their ex-player Josh Naylor. So Josh Naylor struck out his elbow and got hit. So he swung and got hit by it.
I think I meant to write stuck out.
So
no, I did. Yeah,
you did write it.
Stuck out his elbow.
I forgot. I'm not really a reader, bro. So Naylor gets hit by a pitch. Then Austin Hedges, I don't know what caused this, but according to people online, he says, quote, "No one likes you." Literally, no one likes you. To his former teammate, Josh Naylor, who has been getting in beefs all career, really. Can we play this? However, I'm not so sure he said no one likes you or said nobody asked you. So that is the debate. What do you think he says in the lip readers?
Yeah, it definitely looks like nobody likes you.
It looks like nobody asked you. Because I like Josh Naylor. I like Josh Naylor. A lot of people like Josh Naylor.
He goes literally.
Oh, it does look like. No, it does look like nobody asked you.
If you think it's going to ask you, it looks like ask you. If you go into it thinking that nobody likes you, you're going to think he says nobody likes you. But everyone thinks he said nobody likes you. But I wish I could give credit. I saw someone on Twitter being like, no, he said asked you.
I think he said asked. Because if you're saying asked, you go asked. And if you're saying like, your mouth is small. So unless he's like mouthing it to him, like nobody likes, like nobody says like that.
He's got a big mouth, maybe.
I don't know.
Let's get some analytics on the size of Austin Hedges' mouth, so we can get to the bottom of this. They were teammates in 2019 on the Padres.
They were traded together
for the Guardians. They were teammates for fucking 3 seasons, and now one of them is saying that no one asked or likes you. Maybe he said both. Either way, they lose that series to the White Sox. They give up first place, but then. They do beat the who they play after that?
The Mariners. So
that was against the Mariners.
They were about to lose a series to the Mariners, but then they scored 5 runs in the 8th inning yesterday.
Saved the series and saved the division lead. So they're tied with the White Sox, who won a big series against the Guardians, then won 2 out of 3 against the Royals, and they're staying above water. They have a great week. They win 4 out of 6 without Murakami.
Vargas has had a great week. He had 3 homers. He had a 287 WRC plus because he hit 435 with a 913 slugging. Great week. They scored 22 runs against the Royals on Friday. They'd scored 10 runs by the 3rd inning.
God, 22 runs allowed by the Royals. Is it time to send the Royals to the moon? Let's destroy the Royals franchise.
Yeah.
I wonder what the White Sox and Guardians record would be if they didn't get to play the Royals. I don't know their head-to-head matchups, but I'm betting that they've had their way with them because the Royals don't beat anyone. Either way, the White Sox stay in first place. However, it is a tie. And that's enough for the Central, unless you want to talk about anyone else in the Central. Anything you want to highlight?
No, I mean, Tigers, they looked briefly like they were back on track, but then again, they lost, they won 2 out of 7 this week, so lost 5 games. They lost their Scooble start, like you mentioned earlier. They lost a start that Jack Flaherty actually pitched well, so I think they are officially in the cooked territory. And then, I mean, the White Sox have the Pope on their side. We didn't mention that. AJ Pierzynski, a longtime White Sox, met the Pope. He gave the Pope the last out ball from the 2005 World Series. Told the Pope the White Sox were in first, and the Pope says, "I'm watching. I'm paying attention. Don't worry."
That's a great mascot to have. The Pope. It used to be King Vaughn. Now it's the Pope. Big difference. But both big White Sox fans. One is alive, one is dead. Rest in peace to King Vaughn. And then we got the Twins, who came into the week hot, but then they had to play the Dodgers, got swept by the Dodgers, and then beat the Rockies. But that's all I got on the Twins. You got anything on Twins? On the Twin Cities?
No, I was trying to find it earlier. Some Twins fan commented earlier this year that Brooks Lee is like the worst player in baseball until he's about to get demoted, and then he goes on like a hot streak. And I think this week was Brooks Lee's hot streak because he had 2 homers and had a 190 WRC plus.
Shout out to Brooks Lee, bro. That's one of my favorite players in the game.
You love a good shortstop?
I love a good shortstop, bro. I used to play shortstop.
Until your shoulder got fucked.
Yeah. Rest in peace to the shoulder. All right, let's go to the West, bro. Mitchell didn't even know who was in first place in the West.
I would be dead if a gun was pointed at my head.
And now, it's not the Astros. Spoiler alert, it's not the Astros who who's definitely not out of it. I mean, hey, Amai struck out 10 in 6 scoreless innings, bro. So what the fuck? Imai. That's not his fucking name. Imai. I don't know what's his first name, dude.
Tatsuya
Imai, who was so bad in the first month of the season, he basically wanted to deport himself back to Japan. He was praying for ICE to show up. ICE did not show up. They sent him to a different place in Texas, made him go to the minor leagues, came back and has been great since then. He's the highest K per 9 in June after his last start. 10 strikeouts in 6 scoreless innings. Hey, bro, I mean, if the Astros, if their pitching staff can be good, then they could be a playoff team.
I don't even think they need to be great or good. They just need to be average because they do have some good hitters on their team. So I think we're kind of hitting that point where the pitching staff is kind of averaging out, and they've been pretty good for about a month now, I think.
So they're 11th in runs in offense. I wonder how much of that is Yordan Alvarez, though.
75%.
75%. So let's pray Yordan Alvarez doesn't get injured or hit by a car or anything, which would count for an injury. And Hunter Brown is back off the IL, so that hurts.
Houston has the 4th best record in baseball in June.
Shout out to the fucking Astros, man. Don't sleep on them, dog. Hader's back. He's been good. Hader won't go away. He's the 3rd best relief pitcher in baseball over the past week, according to the Fangraphs. Power rankings, 0.75 ERA in 12 appearances. 8 games, 7 saves. The Haterade. They're always sipping the Haterade on Hader. But it ain't going to work, motherfucker. They win 3 out of 4 against the Tigers. And they got they got Tang. They got a Taiwanese guy. They got a Japanese pitcher and a Taiwanese pitcher. And Hunter Brown. And an Italian pitcher. They got the most diverse pitching staff in baseball. An Italian, a Taiwanese?
A Taiwanese.
A Taiwanese.
A Taiwanese pitcher.
Yeah, but if you're an Italian, if you're from Italy, you're an Italian. If you're from Taiwan, what are you?
You're Taiwanese.
You're a Taiwanese man?
Why are you saying it a?
Okay.
I'm with you.
You know what I'm saying?
I do, yeah.
If you're from Argentina, you're Argentinian. If you're from Taiwan, what are you?
Actually, if you're from Argentina, you're an Argentine. And you are Argentinian. But the proper noun is Argentine. And I think that's what you're asking.
Argentinian.
Is if you're from Taiwan.
What are you?
You are Taiwanese as a descriptor, but what is your proper noun? Like what Taiwaneseman?
Well, it almost seems natural to go Thai, but you're not Thai.
You're not Thai.
Mitchell's about to say that they just call them Chinese.
But even if you're Thai, I don't know how to say it then either.
No.
Mitchell just said they're just Chinese.
No.
That's what Mitchell said.
I'm actually realizing there's a lot of countries that don't have a word like that.
Because, what are you going to call a Japanese pitcher?
A Japanese.
Is there just not like an English word?
Now you're
for
trying to
this?
get me in trouble, bro. Wow, we just debunked the English language, bro.
I think we actively did the opposite.
I mean, there's some words that we need to invent, man. And that is the Taiwanese pitcher. Either way, they got a freaking American pitcher. They got an Italian pitcher. They got a Japanese pitcher and a Taiwanese starting pitcher. Pretty fucking good, but no Latin guys. Come on, man. That's easy. So shout out to the Astros. We're rooting for you, man. We're rooting for you. Are we rooting for the Rangers?
I cannot believe they're in first.
The Rangers are in first place. I totally forgot they were too. I thought the fucking Mariners were in first.
No, it's the Rangers.
I knew they were in first. The Texas Rangers are in first place. Don't even have a winning record, but they have done it. They have shocked the world. And they did it. They're in first place after winning 4 games in a row and have a -8 run differential. But they win 4 games in a row. They get hot at the right time. They go 500 and they surpass the Seattle Mariners. They sweep the Blue Jays this weekend. Love it. Jock Peterson is batting leadoff for the Rangers.
Hit 2 leadoff homers this week.
Damn. They got a fat leadoff hitter in Texas. Everything is bigger in Texas, especially the leadoff hitters. 2 leadoff home runs for Jock Peterson. John Rocker goes 6 scoreless. Sorry, Kumar Rocker. And Jared Kelenic is back in the major league. Scores on a wild pitch from second base. So this is a team you can get behind now. Evaldi shuts him down over 7 innings. Mackenzie Gore, he pitches 7 innings. Quality start, 3 runs. And they do it. Everything is bigger in Texas, man. Except the run differential. That is not that big. That is a -8 run differential. But when you win 4 in a row and you're in the AL West, there's a good chance you will be in first place. And that is what happened.
I mean, the week started so bad for them. They won a close game against the Marlins. They lose on Tuesday. Jacob deGrom lost on Wednesday. You go and leave them at Wednesday. You're like, the Rangers are not having a great week. And then they sweep the Blue Jays, and that's all it takes. That's all it takes to get in first place in the American League, apparently.
Yep. So congratulations to them. The Mariners can't hold on. They started the week in first place. Game and a half up against the Athletics. They had to go to Pittsburgh. They lost 2 out of 3 in Pittsburgh. Then had to go to Cleveland. Lost 2 out of 3 in Cleveland. And that's it. That's with the piggyback. They brought back the piggyback,
But
man.
they didn't. They were supposed to have a piggyback start on Saturday. I circled it on the calendar. I put it on the dock on Monday or Tuesday. I was like, piggybacking is back. You know what they did 6 hours before the game? They said no more piggybacking. It's on hold. Logan Gilbert pitched 7 innings, no piggybacking, and they lost. So
Hey, and guess what the starting pitchers did this week? Brian Wu, terrible start. 5 runs allowed in the 4th. After the game, he had a terrible post-game interview that made people worried. This guy is
I missed that one.
Going through it. Bryce Miller allows 3 runs in 5 2/3. If you would have only pitched 4, might have been better.
Logan Gilbert, 4 runs allowed.
4 runs allowed in 7 innings. Come on. Where's Luis Castillo? Did he pitch?
He had a 6-inning start, allowed 1 run.
Okay. Good for him.
But he already, he got his piggybacking in. So
the other guys could use a piggyback. Cal Raleigh was the best hitter on the team this year. They only had 1. Well, I guess he wasn't the best hitter on the team. That would be Josh Naylor. But yeah, we're still looking for Cal Raleigh to get hot.
It's funny. He had probably his best week all season, right? And it was still a week where he hit 190.
Yikes. Randy Rosarena's back.
Oh, did you see the stat? The Mariners had 13 consecutive games where they scored 3 runs or less.
13.
And then it was according to Cespedes, Family Barbecue, rival podcast, but they looked up and it was the 2nd longest streak in the wild card era.
Wow. That makes you think that they are bad at offense.
Makes you think.
Despite the big dumper, despite Arozarena, despite Julio Rodriguez,
Josh Naylor,
they score 3 runs or less for 13 games in a row.
Then they finally score more than 3 runs and they lose.
How does that happen, man? I
thought the Braves offense was bad.
Yeah. And they were good last year. That's crazy how much of that was just Cal Raleigh being dumping all over the ball. Yeah, I feel like this team should be so much better than they are, bro. I mean, just the pitching staff alone.
They should be running away with the division.
I know. They're going to be kicking themselves if they don't make the playoffs. I would say there's no chance they don't make the playoffs, though.
It's such a Mariners thing, though, if they don't.
Yeah, but the AL is so bad, especially the AL West.
Well, I think the Mariners are part of that problem. This team should be 10 games over 500, and they're 1 game under 500.
Yeah. So right now, the Mariners, they're 1 game under 500, and they have a 77.7% chance to make the playoffs. They're basically a shoe-in, Mitch, while being under 500. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Even the Angels still have a shot. So the Angels make a big change. They fire their GM. Rest in peace. Play the violin music, the sad music. Mr. Maniason, is that how you say it? Not a great tenure for him. I don't have the moves over my head. I mean, I don't even know, bro. I mean, we just...
So his
2021 is when he took over?
So he's not even the guy who signed Rendon.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, I feel like a lot of the mistakes weren't really on him. At least the big ones.
He definitely tried to trade Ohtani in 2023. And there was a rumor this year that said the Angels had lined up a trade for Junior Caminero, which would have been massive. But Artie vetoed it because he didn't want to lose out on tickets. And then that was the same season that he went all in on Lucas Giolito and Ronaldo Lopez and Randall Grichuk. And then a month later, designated all of those guys for assignment.
Hey, sometimes you got to make the big move. Sometimes you got to make a bad move to make a good move. Sometimes a bad move is a good bad move.
A good bad move?
Yeah, every once in a while you make a bad move just to keep them on their toes. And that's what Messiah, that's the thing about Messiah that he never got credit for, is making the bad move when you need it most. And he would constantly be making bad moves and giving you things to talk about.
He's also the guy who gave the Braves Raisel Iglesias for Jesse Chavez and Tucker Davidson, which was not a great trade.
But that's a great example of a bad move that was a good move, because it was a good move. Help the Braves.
His former employer.
Help the Braves, man. That's the thing. A bad trade is actually a good trade. If a bad trade is bad for you, it's good for someone else. You know, are we not going to? Is that not?
Well, yeah, I mean, the exchange. But you don't want to be on the bad end of it.
But it's admirable, dude. That's what I'm saying. Put others before yourself. Sometimes you got to do a solid. You do a bad trade to help. A bad trade is a good trade to somebody else. So there's no such thing as a bad trade. Even if, you know, that's my logic. And then the Athletics, last but not least, the Sacramento Athletics. What do you got on the Sacramento Athletics?
So Zach Geloff entered the week with the longest active hitting streak in baseball. He had a 24-game hitting streak. He bats in the first inning. He doesn't get on base. And then in the very next inning, Matt Chapman hits this double. There's a close play at the base, and Chapman just spikes him on the hand. And that ended his hitting streak. He had been one of the best hitters over this last month and just got stepped on the hand.
Who stepped on his hand, man?
Chapman. And then they didn't have a great week. They lost the series to the Giants. They lost the series to the Angels, right? I mean, just this month we were talking about, oh, man, the A's, they might be in the playoffs there. In first place, and now I don't even know where they're at.
Yeah, they are in third place. Oh, they're in fourth place. 2 games back. Game and a half back from the wild card spot. Negative 54 run differential. Yeah. 26% chance to make the playoffs. You never fucking know. But they lost Severino, which sucks for them because their pitching sucks. But their offense is good. But they can't win that many games. And they don't have a home park. And I don't know. They got cool uniforms, I think. I like the green colors. You're wearing a green hat.
Yeah. I mean, the A's have always had pretty fun uniforms. It just kind of sucks that they're in that situation.
Well, it would only take a week or two for them to be back in first. Actually, it would take up 3 days.
3 days, yeah.
3 days. We're 3 days out of first, guys. That's what, if I was the A's manager, I'd say, guys, we're 3 days away. We're 3 days away. All right. Well, that will do it for this week's iteration of Podcast Doesn't Exist, unless I'm forgetting a team or a series or something. But I believe that's all she wrote.
We'll hear about it if you are.
Yeah.
Any questions on the Spotify? I looked at YouTube. There's like not any question. I mean, most of the questions are Giants, shit like that.
Let's check the Spotify.
Giants.
Chance Green Music.
Or like midgets.
Claims the Astros will win the 2026 World Series. What do you think, Joe?
Hot take. I would say that there's a very small chance that the Astros win the 2026 World Series due to their lack of pitching. However, there's strength in diversity. As we just covered, most diverse pitching staff in baseball.
B-Man asks, I have a question for Joey. Do you think the A's will be good when they move to Vegas?
Honestly, I actually have, yeah. My gut is saying that the A's will be good when they move to Vegas. That's in 2 years.
I do think so, yeah.
2 years. I do believe that they've had a lot of time to prepare. I mean, it's now or never, guys. They definitely have a strong core. The A's have a strong young core. I do kind of wonder how much of this ballpark is just kind of inflating a lot of these guys' numbers. That probably doesn't get talked about in the same way. But, like, you know, they got Bangaliers, Kurtz, fucking Lawrence Butler. I know he's been shit this year, but previously a good hitter. Zach Geloff is doing a lot better this year. All these guys are young, under control, team control. They will be in Vegas, and they will be entering their primes. So it's lining up pretty well. For at least their lineup is lining up pretty well for their Vegas debut.
Blockland Pablo says, I like Asian guy. He's funny.
Wow. Who's he talking about? Me?
I think he's talking about you, Jack.
People think Joey and I are so high.
Yeah. What are you going to do, dude? Maybe you stop coming to the podcast high, Jack.
I'm not high. I've never been high on the podcast. There's too many things going on. I would fuck up for sure.
High on life, brother.
No, sometimes I'm high from the night before.
Yo.
Just like a little bit, you know? You know when you just get a little bit? That's all I got on my end.
All right. Mitchell.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Thanks for listening. Oh, don't forget about our fundraiser, Project Baseball. We're gonna leave a link back in the comments. Donate to Project Baseball. Buy some gear for some kids. But that is all. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.